Hello everybody and welcome to the 2025 Motorsport UK British O-Plate Championship for Rotax, including the Tillotson T4 Nations Cup qualifier, brought to you by Wera Tools. My name is Henry Baudet, and for the first time in at least 18 months, it's my great pleasure to welcome Anthony Jordan back to the commentary box on loan from the FIA. Anthony, welcome back to the UK. Welcome to the home of British karting. Welcome to the first big event of the 2025 British karting season.
Thank you so much, Henry Baudet. Yes, indeed. Fantastic to be back. I have missed this place so much. Last time here was, of course, the FIA Worlds, but now we are back with some beautiful, beautiful racing, and it's only another one-off. The Rotax Open, the Rotax O-Plate, the best of the best drivers from the Rotax class, all here to race at this very place, PF International.
The home of British karting, nearly 1,400 metres of fast, furious tarmac, now over 30 years old, but still looking as fresh as one of the daisies that are starting to appear around the banking that envelops the circuit as the glimmer of British springtime is in the air. This is Alpha Live's coverage, first bit of coverage of the 2025 season. As you can see, the weather by the skies above, a mixture of dark and light clouds, just a little bit of blue sky peeking in between them. It is set to remain largely being the word, dry. But it is brisk. You can see the Rotax flags, the Motorsport UK flags, and the Wera Tools flags, the Demon Tweaks flags, they're fluttering in the Lincolnshire breeze. And Anthony, of course, the last time you were here, we were crowning some world champions. This weekend, we crown 4 British Open titles, and we get an idea of who will represent their nation in the Tillotson T4 Nations Cup finals later this year. 6 classes, 2 packed days of racing.
Certainly so, and it's not just us, of course. Nicole Sutherland joins us. She's on the banking. She's out and around looking in the paddock. Nicole, we're inside, you're outside. How is it feeling out there?
Well, like Henry said just a moment ago, it's a bit brisk out here, it's a bit cold, typical English weather for March. But of course, it's going to be fast this weekend, it's going to be furious. Hopefully, we see a little bit of those mixed conditions. Drivers dealt with some rain yesterday, on Friday, through practice. I'd quite like to see a little bit of drizzle come down today, see things get mixed up for these drivers and really test them. Of course, though, it's an O-Plate, it's a one-off. It's going to be absolutely incredible. Last year, we had such a show. I think so many of our audience will remember some spectacular moves from the likes of Macaulay Bishop. That was something that went down in the history books. We're going to see more of the same this weekend. Let's head back up then into the box that's behind me. Henry and Anthony, what have we got coming up?
Well, thank you, Nicole. And I do appreciate the fact that Nicole wants to see some drizzle, some wet weather.
And she's outside.
She's outside.
Exactly.
We're
inside. So, yeah.
Well done, Nicole, there. Welcome aboard if you're watching on the Alpha Live YouTube channel, if you're watching on the Karting UK YouTube channel, and if you're watching on the Wera Tools Facebook page. Now, as always, here at the British Karting Championships, up in the commentary box, we have your live comments coming in on the chat feature. A big hello to everybody watching us. We have got drivers from around the world racing with us, and we've got people from around the world watching us. Please let us know who you're cheering for, where you're watching from. There is a look at the Bobby Game corner at the end of the back straight here at Paul Fletcher International. What have we got coming up for you today, ladies and gentlemen?
We've got many things.
The answer is we've got many things, including some go-karting.
Yes.
12 go-karting races, 12 heat races for the juniors, the seniors, the micros, the minis. We'll have a short break while we do some practice for the T4 juniors and seniors. And then rounding out the day, we have qualifying for the T4 classes. Tomorrow, we will have heat races for the T4s, the super heats for the Rotax classes, and of course the all-important finals. The main events, one-off race, the winners crowned the British Open champion. Hello, thank you to Motorsport Magpie on the live chat, and a big happy birthday to Scotland's tiny karter, Ellis Bell. Now a junior, and he's celebrating his birthday today. Watch out for number 46 in junior Rotax. Already a lot of people supporting Dan Holland Racing, Guy Cunnington Racing. All the big names are here, all the big teams are here, plenty of international names as well, including Anthony, a driver who had a rather good day the last time you were here at PF International, Mr. Ethan Jeff Hall.
Yes, he has made an appearance here. Of course, he won that on the last lap in those torrid conditions.
Won what? The local Trent Valley Kart Cup?
Local Trent Valley Kart Cup. No. FIA
God,
World Karting Championship last year here at the PF International Circuit. The first time it's been back in many, many years, actually, to the PF International Circuit. It was great to see. But yeah, he is here. He's watching from the sidelines. Really good to see him here this weekend. And like you say, looking after a few drivers.
Yes, he is indeed. He is now part of the Mercedes Junior Formula One program. Mercedes Junior, the AMG Petronas Mercedes.
The Mercedes AMG Petronas F1 Junior program. Yes, something along those lines.
I'm glad that we got you back here from the FIA.
Get on with an advert, Henry.
What? We got some adverts. Oh yeah, I know we got some great sponsors. I know that Wera Tools. A big thank you to Wera Tools for re-sponsoring a new deal for Wera Tools to be the title sponsor of all things British karting this year. To Demon Tweaks as well, original title sponsor. They were on board back in the first year, the modern era of the British Kart Championship. But talking of Wera, let's have a look and see what tools they've got. There's two up here. I know that. The waiting, ladies and gentlemen, is over. Heat 1 is up next. It is Junior Rotax. .8 minutes plus 1 lap. 66 Junior Rotax drivers on our new and improved Alpha Grid graphics. It's Scotland's Leon Hastie and Finlay Buck sharing row number 1. Reigning British Grand Prix champion Riley Cranham and Jared Fox-Whiteley share row 2.
Birthday boy on row number 3. Ellis Bell also on Scotland's term. Starts this one on row 3. Is joined by Harry Freeman of KR Sport. Zane Quaker and Colt Denham round out the top 8. They go from row number 4.
Harry Taylor and Cameron Nelson, podium finisher in the Rotax Grand Finals, round out your top 10. Lewis Sumner making his British Karting Championship debut this weekend, starts alongside Shun Sekiguchi from Japan. He's the International Asia Trophy champion.
Ryan Gill and Daniel Kilpatrick on row 7. They'll be joined by Albert Friend and Ava Morris on row number 8.
Jake Flewitt and former O-Plate runner-up Zach Starbuck go from row number 9. Joel Dixon-Cohen and Vlad Tomenchuk round out your top 20.
And Marcel Popakul from Poland and Ethan Griffiths go from row 11.
He's Welsh.
Yeah, he is Welsh. Daniel Minto and Dijon Bennett also rounding out row number 12.
Row number 13, Harry Holland and Henry Cameron, recently announced as a Ginetta Junior driver. From Canada, the Great White North, Pierce Wade and Joseph Yao.
Row number 15 sees Kieran Stewart and Ava Reynolds, Freddie Whittington and Adam Trick from Connor Large, giving it large on the back of the field, row 17.
Yes, indeed. 33 drivers, just short of capacity. We're into the tram lines.
Going round again.
And that had false start written all over it, Anthony. Maybe
Yeah.
just a little bit keen, a little bit keen.
A little bit keen at the front of the field there. Yeah, at the start of these races, if you are new to karting, it is very simple. From the yellow line or the red line that'll be situated just as they enter into Bobby Game Corner here at the circuit, there is no overtaking permitted. You should be in 2x2 rolling start formation all the way around the Mike Wilson complex. You get into the tram lines, you stay in those tram lines, you wait till the yellow line, or roughly around the yellow line, that's the acceleration line, and then you go racing. If anyone goes too soon, it's a false start. If anyone is not gathered in the back, it's a false start. If there's a lot of drivers not in them tram lines, it's a false start.
Oh, and it's a potential time penalty. Anthony
Yes.
Jordan, pray tell, if you are not in your correct grip position by the time you get to said red line before Bobby Game Corner, what must you do as a driver?
Stay where you are. You're not allowed to overtake past that yellow line. So basically, if you've pulled it, you had a moment, you fell to the back, and you're trying to make your way back through the field, which you can do. If you get back before that red line, you're fine. If you get back after that red line and you continue to overtake, it is immediately penalty, and
Yes.
you could win the race, but you finish stone dead last.
Exactly. Now, new year, new colours for some teams, new teams. Well, not quite a new team. The return of global karting, the GP plate of Riley Cranham. Over the winter, there's been a change. Mike Spencer and Rob Hanscom, who used to run the Synergy Factory team, that has gone away or has been moved, and now they've decided to bring their old team back, global karting, in those black and gold or black and yellow colours. I seem to remember Elliot Harvey doing very, very well for that team. But for the second time of asking, we're into the tram lines. This time it's go and up into turn number 1. 33 drivers. The track is slightly greasy offline, and already we got a couple of drivers sampling the newly cut grass here. And there's Harry Holland in the bright green chassis, just having a little bit of an issue there as we look into turn number 3 and on to the bridge.
Yeah, indeed. Back down the hill they go in towards hairpin number 1, the first major overtaking opportunity, and we are seeing that here. Lunges down the inside 3, too wide into most places as well, and you can see it still kicking off in the background. Battle for third is on, but a handful of these drivers here, Henry, not having the starts they would have wanted, and it all kick-started a little further in the midfield here. Jake Flewitt, unfortunately, going backwards in this one.
Yes, and still a couple of drivers just running offline. When I arrived at the circuit this morning, on time,
I was amazed.
The track was still damp. We were out in the paddock, and it was just before qualifying that the change went from wet tyres to slick tyres. So while the prepared surface, the very well manicured prepared surface, welded to Tav Kirk and the rest of the team here at PFI, that's dry. The green bits are not so dry.
Yes, indeed. Well, Riley Cranham at the moment in the lead of this one, doing GP things here at
Yes.
PF International, leading the way pretty comfortably. There you just saw a move. Cameron Nelson in the background getting past Zane Quaker. That was for P4. As we go side by side for the lead here, Leon Hasty is being hasty, and he's looking for a move down the inside, and he's done that.
That's for the Craft Motorsport team. They've got a new, slightly improved, depending on your disposition, graphics kit. A bit more black on the turquoise, blue and orange for Leon Hasty. Hasty now entering, I think, his third year as a junior driver. He's under pressure. There's his birthday boy, Ellis Bell, up into P2. Well, we're not going to talk about rugby later on. We're not.
We're not, okay.
Well, I mean, Wales might be England as long as England put out their under-15s team or something like that. But Ellis Bell, it's a Scottish 1-2 at the moment. No, it's now a Scottish 1-3. Cameron Nelson. Fine, there's Wales getting involved. Up into second place now for Nelson in the Dan Holland racing car. And for those of you thinking, oh, it's only a heat, start of the weekend, it's going to be nice and tame.
Absolutely not. No, feisty racing all the way to the end here as it's, again, more moves down the inside here. Riley Cranham back for a move down the inside at hairpin number 1. This is, again, something that we see.
Oh, hello.
Oh, there, Finley Buck right on the outside of hairpin 1. It's not a nice place you want to find yourself in the early stage of the weekend, and neither is that. That was the 62 and the 53, I think it was, falling back and out of this race.
That is what you call a headache for Dan Holland.
Yes.
Because that was...
Cole Denham and Harry Taylor.
Yes, so Taylor just moving out of Minimax into juniors. Denham, a former O-plate champion, a former double British kart champion, didn't win an O-plate, former GP plate winner, just getting used to each other as teammates. And now Nelson sets a new fastest lap, closing in on Leon Hasty. So we're running lap number 4. That's a very distinctive pink and purple crash helmet. That is the KR Sport number 78 of Harry Freeman, who was very impressive in this event last year, finished 7th for Evolution Racing last year. Now, we haven't mentioned Shun Sekiguchi. He's there in 9th place for the Dan Holland Racing Team. Japanese driver, won the Rotax International Trophy Asia event, booked his ticket to the Grand Final, was one of the very first drivers to book his ticket to the Grand Final. He's got Marvellous Marv mechanicking for him. Good team, good mechanic. Language barrier still a little bit prevalent, and he's now learning the rough and tumble of the British karting scene. There he is. He's the back of that lead group here. There he goes, just flashing through your screen there.
Yep.
Shun Sekiguchi, very, very talented driver from Japan. And here's a very, very good battle for the race lead, Anthony.
Yep, Leon Hasty now through the mic, up the hill, through the banking, over the Litchfield Bridge, down in towards hairpin number 1 again. This is where you see those defensive lunges early in the race for these sort of defensive lunges here. And look at that. Who's back? It's Riley Cranham, and he's looking for the lead here on the outside of hairpin 2. Not going to make that work. He's compromised his exit, and he's going to go absolutely wheel to wheel there with Zane Quaker, and Quaker just squeezes his way through up into P3.
The number 11 kart, Zane Quaker, driving for the Ultimate R team, the team run by Ben Hingley, and Ben Hingley, his younger brother Matty Hingley, is back in the seat, going to do a little bit of racing this year. Dad Hingley loves Bonner, is loving it. Mum Judy is undecided. Right. Well, you know, she thought she'd escaped karting for the time being. But no.
No, not at all. You can't escape karting, Henry. As soon as you're in it, that's it. You're in it for life.
Yes, indeed. You get bitten by the bug, as it were. So, a top 5 breakaway, led by Leon Hasty, followed by Cameron Nelson. Then it's Zane Quaker, Riley Cranham, and the Coles Racing car. There's a move!
Big move down the inside. I thought he wasn't going to make the apex there, but that is brilliant from Cameron Nelson. And now you can see he's under pressure, sweeping all over the circuit here. This is not what you want to see in a qualifying heat, especially the first one. They lost out massive amounts of time there, and you can see all the meanwhile that's going to bring everyone in, and I'm already seeing some technical flags going out.
That was Riley Cranham trying to cut in and make a gap where Zane Quaker had the front of his go-kart.
Yes.
It had instant written all over it, but they somehow managed to get away with it ish.
Yeah, I think so. Well, there's your mechanical failure flag going out.
Ooh,
Joel
for
Dixon Cohen.
67.
Yeah, Joel Dixon Cohen, unfortunately, not having a good race, and he's down in 25th place at the moment. So
the George Whitbread Racing kart, which is even yellow flags waving as well. Oh, and that is a wagon with only 3 wheels upon it. And I believe that was Adam Turacek.
Yeah, Turacek.
Privateer driver.
And that looks to me like a front track rod has gone, because that wheel, you can see it was right on the inside. It was right on the kind of the floor tray, the chassis there. So that's not what you want to see. This is interesting.
Yes.
3 wide battles into the Fullerton S's.
Yes, and Harry Freeman picks up 2 places there, as this is Cranham v Quaker Mark II. At some point, they're going to have to realise, look, if we want to win this event, then we must work together for at least part of it.
Part of it, yeah, but you have to remember this is only a qualifying heat. It's only the first race of the weekend as well, and, you know, you can get this sort of anger, well, not anger, frustration, angst out of your system in these early stages, but you still don't want to get a bad result, as there you have it. That's as close as you'd like it over the bridge.
Yes, and now we've got a 3-kart battle of the lead. Nelson defending, less than a minute to go. Hasty, watch Hasty swing out wide. No, he doesn't. Ellis Bell trying to go around the outside. Goes for the undercuts, and no.
No, I thought that was going to be a beautiful little switch over there on the 2 of them. He's going to try it again here. Ellis Bell in 3rd place, trying to switch it back. No, just hasn't got the legs to get that kart down the inside. Now they have to be careful here. Any more defensive lunging, they will have that big group of karts coming through, but there's yellow flags out in the background. There's a kart going off the track. There's that Jack's Motorsport.
Jared Fox Whiteley
yes, I think
doing a bit of grass tracking. There's Shun Sekiguchi getting elbowed wide. Welcome to the UK, Shun. This is how we do things over here. Here's Albert Friend. Albie Friend out of Minimax into juniors. Having a little look, he's realising, it's even more chaotic in juniors than it was in minis. But the clock has struck 0, Anthony. Next time by, they will see the last lap board. Well, hopefully they'll all see the last lap board. There's no guarantee they're all going to get round.
Well, that was what I was thinking. I was thinking of Cameron Nelson. Is he going to get that last lap board this time around, or is he going to have to do an extra lap or so? And this train for 4th place, still kicking off. Zane Quake at the front of it, and the rest of the field there, you can see the pack. It's the end of the race, Henry. You expect this, but you still wouldn't think it at this stage of a weekend. But now, how close are they getting? Because now, what you're seeing here, Ellis Bell, they're in P3. He's under pressure now.
Well, he's now P6 because Zane Quecker opened the door. Harry Freeman and Riley Cranham snuck through. But here we go, through the final chicane, out on the start-finish line. Last lap board is out. Hasty versus Nelson at the front of the field. Quacker, Freeman, Cranham and Bell for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. And everyone else watching on behind. Here's the first move of the last lap. Cranham up into P4.
Yeah, indeed. GP plate back on the charge here. Hasty once again going defensive. Nelson to the outside, trying to get that switch back. Can't get the legs out of the corner again. He'll hug that inside line, Will Nelson. Hasty as well, trying to go back to the Hasty on the inside. And again, Nelson on the outside, just switching back and forth. And all the meanwhile, Quaker's caught back up, and it's a 3-car battle again into this final lap. Last corners to go here, Henry. There is overtaking opportunities here, but it's very, very difficult to get it done.
It's very risky, and with only 36 of the 66 entries guaranteed a place in the main event, you don't want to risk everything on the last corner of heat number 1. And indeed, everybody behaves themselves through their race number 1 of the 2025 Motorsport UK Rotax British O-Plate, presented by Wera Tools, goes to Scotland's Leon Hasty. From Cameron Nelson, Zane Quecker in P3 after a 5-stage, Riley Cranham 4th, Harry Freeman 5th, the birthday boy Ellis Bell for Coles Racing in 6th, Finley Buck from the front row of the grid dropped back to 7th, Jared Fox Whiteley, after a brief off-track excursion, finishes 8th. Albie Friend is 9th, and Zach Starbuck, who is under investigation from the stewards for an unknown reason, is there in 10th. Shun Sekiguchi finishes P11, Ethan Griffiths 12th, then Daniel Kilpatrick, Ava Morris, Vlad Tomenchuk, Ryan Gill, Pierce Wade, Jake Flewitt, Daniel Minto, Lewis Sumner, and after his incident, Harry Taylor in 21st. 22nd was Henry Cameron, then Harry Holland, Joseph Yao, Cole Denham, the closer, finishes 25th, then Marcel Poppercool, Dijon Bennett, Kieran Stewart, Freddie Widrington, Ava Reynolds, Connor Large, and Joel Dixon Cohen. Large and Dixon Cohen failing to finish, as did Adam Turacek. Let's have a quick look on the live chat. Hello to Nathan Jensen Racing. And hello, can I say a big hello to Kathy Watson? Oh, I can say hello to Kathy Watson and also say hello to John and Shay Watson. John Watson, one of our stewards. Shay Watson in the tyre bay, which is now expanded over the winter. But here we go. Race number 2 is up next. We've seen 33 of our junior Rotax contenders already. Here is the next 33 of them. Albie Lapper and Matteo Palazzo start from row number 1. Kian Bernard and Kai Clark go from row number 2.
Row number 3 sees Noah Barham and Charlie Wolfit, with Ryan Gandor and Rory Armstrong rounding out the top 8 on row 4.
Jensen Chalk and Louis Radcliffe are rounding out your top 10, followed by Eli Baden and William Archer.
John Richardson and Ewan House go from row 7. Finley Lines and Nathaniel Gray round out the next 2 rows.
Lines, one of the FIA Academy drivers this year. John Buchan and Benjamin Baker on row number 9. Rhys Owen and Sebastian Luch round out the top 20.
Row 11, Charlie King and Jack Collinson, with row 12 being Riley Bishop and Jensen Hookey.
Luca Holmes Balak and Elliot Surtees, row 13. Harvey Sargerson and Samir Paul, row 14.
Aston Sharp and Shane Chandelier go from row 15 and round out the top 30. They are followed by Hani Sadiq, Jacob Carnis and Daniel Hartley, who round out the 33 kart field.
We don't have Hani Sadiq, the KR Sport driver, hasn't gone out. So we're into the tram lines. Lapper on the left and Palazzo on the right. Lights are out, we're up and racing. Oh, Palazzo gets squeezed over the grass. Couple others go wide as well, but they all manage to somehow stay in a straight line. Oh, they don't, going into the banking, and that's the Wera Tools kart. That's Kian Bernard, last year's CIK Academy representative for the UK, getting turned around in that very, very smart Wera Tools livery go-kart.
Yeah, but not the start he would have wanted. You can already see some NASA panel damage on one of the DHRs there just going through. You can see it on the number 23, Noah Barham, not faring too well. However, right at the front of all of this, Henry, Albie Lapper for Strawberry Racing, looking pretty comfortable here.
Yes, indeed. Albie Lapper, Liam Wright, his mechanic, is working really hard with Albie Lapper. I'll say this with the greatest respect. Hello, and I'll say in number 12, that's Nathaniel Gray for the Craft Motorsport team, finding the grass. Last year, and I did this, I went through all the results because I'm sad.
Yep.
And there was Albie Lapper holds a record in 2024. Most no-scope penalties out of any driver in any class in the British Championship last year for Albie Lapper. He's been working really, really hard. The speed is undoubtedly there, as you can see. Now, we've got a bit more racecraft with it as well. And he's driving away at the front of the field to the tune of 2.1 seconds over Eli Baden.
Yeah, brilliant start for him, and the same for a couple of other drivers in this one as well. John Richardson, a brilliant start. One that's not getting away well, that is Jacob Carnes. Yeah, he's not had the start he wanted off the track at the banking, but is rejoining on this one. John Richardson, 10 places gained from his original starting spot of P13. He's in P3 right now. Rhys Owen as well, 13 places gained, is inside that top 6. He's had a really strong start as well. And the drivers at the back as well. Shane Tandidia also as Aston Sharp, making good runs through the field in these opening sectors. But that gap, Henry, at the front is extending just that little bit as Albie Lapper set the fastest lap of the race. That was taken away, though. Matteo Palazzo just squeaking that fastest lap in this opening few stages of the race.
I've got to say that Eli Baden there, getting the squeeze going onto the bridge there. John Richardson making the move. The Azerbaijan, well, he proudly flies the flag of Azerbaijan. I think his one of his parents is from Azerbaijan, but he proudly flies the flag for Azerbaijan, driving for the MLC Motorsport team. He is now up into P3. I was going to say the Kato Motorsport team, really good job from the Kato team there. Eli Baden with a white crash helmet, doing a very, very good job. It's because the conditions were changeable in qualifying, it did throw up a couple of surprises in junior, without Eli may have been one of them. Now he's doing an excellent job. Hey, I may not have the pace to win the race, but I'm going to be smart and I'm going to stay in the lead group and just, protect my position as much as possible.
Exactly that. Still some overtakes happening in the background there. A nice on train. This is seems to be a little bit more of a tame junior Rotax race that we are seeing. But right now, these drivers are just going to try and focus in these early stages, pushing their way through it. Aston Sharp, again, another fastest lap of the race, really showing something there as Wolfit going for the moves. And again, these big moves happening down the inside at hairpin number 1. Noah Barham, despite that NASA panel damage, he is still looking very, very strong in this opening stage of the race.
So talk about Noah Barham briefly. I can see that we've got several people watching from the USA. Noah is Anglo-American driver. I think his mum is from Georgia.
Yep.
Charlie Smith is going to be racing in senior. He's from California, so plenty of drivers. And we've got some Noah Rosser in the T4 Tillotson category, also from the USA. So American fans, you have plenty of people to cheer for. One of whom is in 8th position, but he's just been passed by a Canadian. Rayan Gandor has moved up into P7. The Canadians, maybe they're all thinking we want to just, come over here and make Britain the second Canadian state. Who knows? Topical, ladies and gentlemen. Albie Lapper still leads by 2 seconds. You're right there, mate.
Oh, fine. I've not missed this at all. I can tell you right now. Oh, blimey. Right, but yeah, I'm keeping an eye on that gap at the front, though, because Lapper, yes, his pace is good. It's pretty strong right now. He's not losing a great deal of time. Palazzo, Richardson, Baden. That's the battle you're watching right now. This is the battle for P2 onwards. They are not fighting. They are not battling. I suspect John Richardson, with his pace and battles he's had so far this race, will try and go for a move on Palazzo, but where, when will it happen? Time running out, 3 minutes left to go, plus
yes,
1 lap.
1 lap, of course. Charlie Wolfit, another of the MLC Motorsport drivers, takes the fastest lap as he moves into P5. Interesting, as they came onto the start-finish straight, you saw Palazzo look over his shoulder. Richardson did the same. So by looking over his shoulder, Richardson sees, okay, Palazzo's thinking about me. I'm just going to make sure I got enough for gap to make a move. Speaking of moves, there is the number 25 of Aston Sharp.
20 places gained now.
Wow, he's from Scotland, the son of former British Formula 3 racer Ryan Sharp. He's had his iron brew this morning as Aston.
Certainly has. Have you had yours yet, Henry?
Of course, I'm drinking. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm drinking out of a cup this year because New Year, new me and all that. Oh dear. That is Nathaniel Gray.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, he was in the wall earlier on, wasn't he? He got it going, which is great to see, but I think maybe a bit too much damage on board that kart. He's retired it. That is a bit of a shame. Eyes on this one, side by side into the Bruno Ferrari S's. That is as close as you would like it. My goodness, how close was that?
Very, very close.
Very.
And the mean green TB kart machine is chasing them down. Great to see that brand making a return to the top levels of karting around the world. There is the move for Riley Bishop for the X-Kart team.
Yeah, it's X-Kart all running the TB chassis and the TB kart. It feels weird when you see the X-Kart tents, the X-Kart team.
TB, give it to you, X-Kart TB, give it to you.
No, let's not start singing already. It's only Heat 2. But no, great to see the TB kart name racing in the British scene. Very strong team out in Europe with the likes of Ellie Goldstein racing in the TB team out in Europe. But here right now, great to see that. 1 minute to go, Henry. Time very quickly running out as Charlie Wolfett again, right there fighting at the front in the top 5, is looking for the moves here, as that is a recovering in the background there. Kian Bernard for the Zip Factory team on that Vera Tools. He is already fighting back up into 20th place. Remember, he was right stone dead last at the beginning of this race.
He was indeed. And it's so obviously Aston Sharp an issue in qualifying. Let's not forget there's going to be superheats in this. No repechage, and there is the number 76 of Kai Clark, following William Archer through, and they both pass Riley Bishop. So the TB kart, they're going backwards a little bit, but there, the mean green machine, really, really strong indeed. And coming, well, Albie Lapper we haven't talked about him much because he got away for a 2-second lead at the end of lap number 1. That has been whittled down to less than a second now. Palazzo and Richardson, the clock strikes 0, so they got 2 laps, Anthony. 2 laps, that's a long time in the sport of go-karting.
It certainly is. However, you got to think for these drivers, it is their first qualifying heat of the weekend. They don't want to put any pressure on themselves right now.
I will counter your argument by saying, however, this is junior Rotax.
It is junior Rotax. That is a very good counter-argument. Yes, indeed. However, I am going to say we're going to see a sensible race to the end. However, with Charlie Wolfett setting the fastest lap and closing in and dipping in behind that Nasser, something tells me it won't stay like that for too much longer.
Yes, let's wait and see. Who's going to be right, Henry or Anthony? Are we going to have sense or nonsense? Well, there's plenty of nonsense coming out of my mouth, as per usual. Let's see if Anthony's years away have
tainted my knowledge of
Yes.
junior racing in the UK.
Well, there's finger pointing going on, and that's John Richardson saying, no, let's push.
Let's go.
Let's
Yeah,
go,
yeah,
let's
yeah.
go. Now, can Matteo Palazzo trust John Richardson?
Well,
He broke. That's a
It-
problem. Did he? Was that an assist
No,
potentially, or is that a problem?
Well, I think he's got a flat tyre. Did you see how much it went up on 3 wheels there? So that's a very interesting development there, or was. There was an assist at any point. Wolfit's gone through past Palacio. So Wolfit, there we go. It did come to fruition, but
Yeah.
I'm keeping an eye on that one as they're still side by side.
Yeah, Richardson still could get second here. Now, we do have some amazing action replays for us for you this year, courtesy of Alpha Live. I wonder if we could see if that thing with Richardson after the race.
Ooh.
Oh, wonder. Palazzo going in. Wolfit's got it, but Albi Lapper who's been excellent this year up at PFI through the Winter Cup and in the early season club events, but Lapper takes the checkered flag, and Wolfit is second, Palazzo third, Richardson fourth, and here's a good battle going on down the order. Coming across the line, I can see Finley Lines is in and amongst that group, finishing down in 20th for the Sam Pollock Racing team, as the rest of the field come across the line. So, Lapper wins from Wolfit, Palazzo, Richardson and Eli Bannon. 30th to 6th for Aston Sharp. That's the drive of the day so far. Rayan Gandur 7th, Noah Barham, Kai Clark and Rhys Owen the top 10. Riley Bishop is 11th, then Louis Ratcliffe, Rory Armstrong, Northern Ireland's Rory Armstrong and Cian Bernard. Charlie King rounds out the top 15. Jack Collinson, Jensen Chalk, Ewan House, Samir Paul and Finley Lines 20th. Then Shane Chandaria, our Kenyan driver. Daniel Hartley, 22nd, followed by Sebastian Lush. Jensen Hookie, Benjamin Baker, John Buchan, Luca Holmes-Ballock, Elliot Surtees, Harvey Sargison, Jacob Carnes, William Archer. We saw William making some moves earlier on, but he retired towards the end of the race, as did Nathaniel Gray, and sadly Hani Sadiq failed to start. When am I back in Asia? Says Roger Long. I'm not sure we have to speak to the promoter about that. Thank you very much, though, for the
I'll
compliments.
speak to him for you, Henry.
Yeah,
I can't wait for you to send you back there over the other side of the world.
Here, okay, for viewers new to go-karting, this is the weigh scale. So every class in karting has a minimum weight for driver and kart. And then the official there, you can see in the grey Trent Valley Kart Club t-shirt, she is holding the iPhone of Doom.
Yeah,
What does the iPhone of Doom do, Anthony Jordan?
Nose cone penalty pictures. Yeah, never a nice thing. And of course, if you get a picture of that nose cone, 5-second undisputable post-race time penalty heading your way. There's a bit of damage that I was referring to in the early stages.
Yes.
The number 23 there on your screen, Noah Barham, I believe may have been with that first lap incident with Mr. Cian Bernard. Yes.
So,
indeed.
Palazzo, now you see, I wonder if we've got roaming cameras down in the paddock. Obviously, Nicole is down there as well. It would be great to visualise or to show a visual of the nose cone brackets. Because what happens, there's two plastic brackets that slot between the metal bars on the kart. And quite simply, if the nose cone gets contact with with a cart in front of it, these brackets pop back.
Yes.
So there they are. Thank you there. So you can see the black panel there. Now, obviously, when the bracket pops back and is not sitting in between the metals flush, that's a penalty. It doesn't matter if one half or both halves are pushed out or what have you. It is indisputable penalty. So there are the brackets in question. Thank you. Without doubt, it's time for race number 3 coming right up.
Certainly is race 3 heading out onto the circuit next. It's time for the seniors, and last year's Grand Prix winner here at PF International, Matthew Higgins, starting it on pole position, is joined by Guy Cunnington alongside Teddy Pritchard Williams, Super Ted and Charlie Clocks. They round out row number 2.
William Antrobus, last year's British Junior Championship runner-up, and Joshua Graham are on row number 3. Lewis Gilbert, Mr. Consistency, 5 straight O-plate podiums for the Diamond of Dalry, and Freddie Ingram on row number 4.
Row number 5 sees Keane Geraghty and Angus Scrivener. Row 6, Hugh Moulton and Armand Hamilton.
Armand Hamilton, the E20's Rotax Grand Finals champion. Archie Buckle and Switzerland's Christopher Holst on row number 7. And on row number 8, you have Alfie Thompson, Ethan Martin.
Row number 9 sees Alex Moody and Lorenzo Cadal. Then it's rounding out the top 20 on row 10, Jack Baker and Oliver Liversedge.
Liam Hartley and James Johnson returning out of retirement for the first time in 2 years. James starting 22nd. Reg Hayward and Latvia's Adrians Tions.
Miles Robbie and Harry Hurst-Grover on row 13, with Elliot Foster rounding out the 27 kart field.
X-Kart, go give it to you. X-Kart, go give it to you.
On there, there you go. Senior
Andrew
Rotax.
never found the mute button on me.
I did, yeah. Have I? Where is it? Say something, Henry.
What?
Found it. Cool. I'll be using that over the course of this weekend. Right, here we go then. Drivers into the tram lines. Are we going to get a good, clean start for the first senior race of the weekend? My mind says yes, we are. And it's a great start there for Higgins. And you can see that straight away. That's a Kart Masters winner right there, sweeping across the front, denying the chance of second place to get alongside.
Yes, Matthew Higgins, knowing that Guy Cunnington, a former winner of this event, a former British champion, a former GP plate winner, the GP plate Kart Masters, British Grand Prix held here at the first weekend of August every year. So Guy knows every trick in the book, and Higgins wanted to make absolutely sure that Guy was not in a position to take the lead away from him in the very early stages. Good battling for second, third and fourth between Cunnington, between Teddy Pritchard-Williams, Super Ted. They're in third position. New colours this year. That's the Origin Motorsport team for the number 4 driver. The number 4 signifies that Teddy finished 4th in last year's Wera Tools British Kart Championship. Origin Motorsport, run by a young lad called Ethan Welch, based out in the UAE. And Super Ted having to get brave there, because while William Antrobus moves into P2, Pritchard Williams defending from Lewis Gilbert. Gilbert with a bit more black, those Craft Motorsport race suits. Okay, first debate of the year. Do I prefer last year's Craft graphics over this year's Craft graphics? I'm old school. There's no school like old school. I like last year's better.
Well, you know, I'll keep my opinion. I kind of agree with you there. But it's still a very pretty livery, and it's still a very, very quick kart they've got there as well.
Killian Craft comes up here and bottles us or something like that. Or
Henry said it first.
Even worse if Big Dougie G comes up here and opens up a can of whoop-ass, then. But no, it's still very nice. Still very nice. Okay. Here we go. Good. Higgins, Antrobus, Pritchard Williams, Gilbert, Cunnington, Cox, Geraghty, Ingram and Moulton, with Josh Graham rounding out the top 10.
They certainly are. Less than 6 minutes plus 1 lap to go of this race, and already Guy Cunnington making those moves up. Great to see that Guy's racing right now. Very under the weather yesterday.
Poorly bad, I was told.
Yeah, really bad. Good to see that he is out in this one. And then a plethora of strawberry cuts there. 3 of them, Keane Geraghty, Charlie Cox and Freddie Ingram, all at each other's throats there into hairpin 1.
Well, you see, what's the collective now for a group? It's a punnet of strawberries.
Punnet of strawberries.
Punnets of strawberries.
There you go.
Yes. Pritchard Williams racing for Strawberry last year, now surrounded by ex-team mates. And there's the number 8C, KR Sports Josh Graham. There's the Evolution Racing, number 87 of Alfie Thompson. I've got to say, Evolution Racing, they don't compete in the British Kart Championships regularly, but they've got a good record here. Last 2023, Freddie Lloyd, second in the junior Rotax O-Plate. And Harry Freeman was 7th last year in the junior Rotax O-Plate.
Yes, indeed. Henry, can you stop disposing paper in my cup of tea, please? That's
I'd rather not. It's quite fun.
Is it fun? It means I haven't got a tea anymore.
Well, I know. That's what makes it fun.
That is not good at all. That is in two-part film. I think that is Miles Robbie, unfortunately, for the MLC Motorsport team, out of this race.
People watching from the Seychelles, people watching from South Africa. someone asking, we haven't got many Praga karts here.
I've not seen any.
No, I haven't seen any. I mean, I'm considering that the Praga UK team were quite demonstrative in their pre-season sort of, expectations. I'm a bit disappointed that they're not here, sadly, because the IPK Praga brand. In KZ2 racing, we're going to see a lot more from that brand because Rush Performance, championship winning team in KZ team. In KZ, they've moved from Maranello over to the Formula K, which is part of the IPK karting brand, but there is not a single Praga here.
No. That's unfortunate, but never mind. Never mind. Later on in the season, maybe, Henry.
Maybe later.
They
Hello to New Zealand as well. So global audience, from all around the world. Hello and welcome to PF International, the 2025 Rotax O-Plate. You're watching the first senior Rotax heat of the day. 56 entries. So we have got 27 of them, or 26 now, because Miles Roby has retired. Alex Moody for the Cato Motorsport team, hurt his calves yesterday, so he's walking around on tiptoes because he says if he puts his feet down and his calves just give out. So he's struggling with an injury, is Alex Moody, down in 26th place at the moment, the number 88, or the number 80 Cato Motorsport kart. Now that sounds like a bit of dragging plastic, doesn't it, Anthony?
It does, and that usually indicates maybe a nose cone has dropped somewhere out there. Usually I'm quite eagle-eyed on those sort of nose cones dropping, but I've not spotted any so far in this race. I'm keeping an eye as well on both the packs. We've got two groups of 4 at this moment. You've got the lead group of 4. That's what you're seeing right there. There's the second group just coming through. This is Kean Geraghty, Freddie Ingram and Joshua Graham battling line astern. Great to see so many of the drivers this weekend rocking their Team UK suits from the grand finals. Great to see that. So many entries, of course, that were entered into last year's one in Sarno, and great to see them back here in the UK. And it's not just the British drivers. I've seen Adrian Tions in his Team Latvia race suit. Pierce Wade has got his Team Canada race suit on, and I suppose Miles Roby's issue was his throttle stuck. Which I think is a problem. I just think that means you just go faster because you can't brake. Yeah, exactly. Someone called Andrew Mather is watching. I've never heard of him myself. No, from Barcelona. No. Oh dear, that's not gone well at all. And that is a hairpin number 2. It was just on the corner of the screen there. It's number 22. Yes, and I suspect that's quite far up. Archie Bussell, unfortunately, the Welshman for KR Sport, dropping well down in the field. But I still focus on this one here. Guy Cunnington there in 3rd place, setting the fastest lap of the race on that last lap. Has he maintained that pace over the line this time around? Well, for anyone inside the top 10, yes, he has, and he is closing that gap down even more. There they are on your screen, as close as you'd like. Again, with 1 minute to go, first qualifying heat of the weekend, Henry. Yes, it's an O-plate. Don't think we're going to see anything here. Well, I mean... I completely eat my words there. Huge send from William Antrobus, 2nd to 4th. Brilliant. I can't wait for Piers Pryor to clip that bit of commentary. I don't think we're going to see anything as Antrobus sends one in from a different postcode. He is just moving out of juniors into seniors, is William Antrobus. Last year's Vera Tools British Championship Junior Rotax class runner-up. So he's testing the waters, as it were. Higgins, Cunnington and Gilbert, I'd say elder statesmen, 3 of the most experienced drivers here in the British Rotax scene. All 3 drivers have been to the grand finals. Higgins, a former junior Rotax British champion. Cunnington, the first senior Rotax British champion of the modern era, 2019 onwards. And Gilbert, who is a multiple grand finals podium winner, O-plate champion, now P2. Now you were seeing there the hand gestures from Guy Cunnington, just saying, what was that for? The race is nearly over. You're not going to gain anything. You're not going to catch him up. Why go for that? And Gilbert's going, well, you said you answered your own question, Guy. The race is nearly over. Yeah. So I'm going to make the move. I'm going to make the move. Yeah, it's completely understandable. I can see in the chat there, question mark over Antrobus, potential nose cone. I think from the eagle-eyed viewers at home, I think that's a blimey, good call there, because I can see that puttering up and down. But it
Was that the bit of the plastic that we hit? This was
possibly, yes, possibly, but we'll keep an eye on that one as it goes on. Final lap time, Henry. Top 3, line astern here. Can Matthew Higgins hold on to this one to the very end? Question mark.
Well, he certainly knows how to get the job done here at PF International. That's why he's got the GP plate on his kart. And he's looking over his shoulder. Yeah, I think that that's too far back for even the most optimistic Scotsman to potentially think about a move. As I say that, Gilbert gets a good run going into the Fullerton chicane, and Teddy Pritchard-Williams is in the thick of it there in the number 4 Origin kart, and he's holding off Josh Graham. So there's 2 drivers that finished in the top 10 of last year's British Championship, but the front runners are crossing the line, and Higgins did hold on as the rest of the field come across. Now, I've got to say, we've got some new camera angles here this year. There's our traditional cameras, what you can see with the Rotax, the Wera branding on it, but there's another camera situated a little bit further back from that, which gives you a better idea, sorry, excuse my elocution, ladies and gentlemen, a better idea of the elevation changes here from the top of the banking down, and there is the terror from Treveglois. Matthew Higgins, followed by the Diamond Doll Rye, Lewis Gilbert, followed by Guy Cunnington, who's from Trowbridge, then William Antrobus, Cian Garrity, Freddie Ingram, Hugh Moulton, Armand Hamilton, Hungary's E20 Rotax Grand Finals champion in 8th, followed by Teddy Pritchard-Williams and Joshua Graham, with Charlie Cox 11th. Liam Hartley, well done to Liam, really good drive there on his his main Vera Tools debut for the Jack Dex racing team. Alfie Thompson, Reg Haywood, Jack Baker, Christopher Holst. Any relation to Gustav Holst, the composer? Probably not. Lorenzo Cordell,
Why
Archie
do you know
Buckle.
that?
Pardon?
Well, it's a random fact that come out of your mouth,
Gustav
Henry.
Holst, he was a composer. Planets, did he?
So carry on.
I can't remember who finished it. There's the rest of them, ladies and gentlemen. There's the rest of them.
So I completely threw your flow off there.
Let's have a look at the live chat feature. Oh, let's have a look at some drivers instead. Everything. People, hello to Dirk from Germany, Dirk Uhlenbrock from Germany, watching in plenty of. Now here we go. iPad of Doom. Oh, it's a piece of paper from Doom. That's now here we go. There's the question. Here we go. Now, does the let's have a look.
Well, we thought about it. It's got a bit of a dent there in the front. There's a pointing at it. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe not. Maybe it was a very low setup there. Maybe it was just that little bit of, thinking about it. But let's see what happens. They've still got scrutineering to get through.
Yes.
Of course, you have to remember that. So plenty to happen.
Right, there's Cian Garrity in the green and white Tony Kart race suit having a chat. There's the Team Latvia race suit. That's Adrian Stions. Love that sort of wine and white livery. Gustav Usakovs, who's not racing here this weekend, his dad is mechanicking, wearing some Team Latvia outfit as well. There's the drivers that don't need to go into post-race scrutineering. They've all got to go into Parc Ferme, and one or two of them may be randomly selected by the scrutineering team here. They're at the back walking through in the grey and black race suit. That's James Johnson.
Yeah.
James, the very first senior O-plate in the modern era. James Johnson finished in 6th place with Dan Holland Racing. I
think that was an impression of there from William Antrobus sending it down the inside.
Yes,
Tap in number 1 there.
And there's Lewis Gilbert going, and all I saw was you doing with a. No, I can't do Scotland. Can't do Scotland. No, well I could, but
you could, but
will offend lots of people.
You'd offend Wales and Scotland at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, probably not the best.
Well, there's the first senior race out of the way. Second senior Rotax race is coming up next. What they were given to us. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Senior Rotax heat number 2, Ewan Charman and Jack West share row number 1. four-time O-Plate champion Kai Hunter, and new Rotax convert Greg's on legs, Henry Gregory, rounds out the second row.
Row number 3 sees Macaulay Bishop, last year's British champion, and of course he's won 2 of these O-Plates. He's looking through his third back-to-back senior this weekend. He'll have Brandon Truman alongside Archie Walker and Matty Hingley go from row number 4.
California's Charlie Smith starts P9 alongside Scotland's Tristan Rennie. Kai Veach, Filipino, Australian and English on row number 6 alongside Mikey Walker.
Joshua Turnbull and Harry Bartle on row 7. Jack Lilly and Owen Neve go from row number 8.
Deacon Russell and Oakley Pryor on row number 9. Lizzie Mentier and William Pemble round out your top 20.
Harrison Crowther and George Holbrook back from retirement.
Yes.
I'm saying he's George Alonso this time around.
Yes.
On row number 11. Jack Gillingham and Zach Heslop go from row number 12.
And then Luca Posick from Canada, Asa Pinder and Neo Clark, who must have had a problem at the back.
The best qualifying.
Yeah, no, not the best qualifying, but I've seen Neo. He's had a long winter because he's now 8 foot taller than what he was when I last saw him.
He has. I went up to him and I was just like, I had to look up.
Yes,
I had to look up at him.
Yes.
It was a very interesting conversation. Right, second of the senior races, and this has got the names in it. Hunter Bishop is the battle
Yes.
I want to see, and they're going to be starting on those second and third rows.
Yes, here we go then. It is Ewan Charman for the Hunter Motorsport team, taking the lead, and his teammate Kai Hunter moves into P2. So the team run by Reese Hunter, and now driven, with his younger brother Kai driving for him, moves into second place. Ewan Charman, a mainstay in the British karting scene for many years now, moves into the race lead. Then the first of the Dan Holland racing karts, but it's not Macaulay Bishop, it's Jack West.
Indeed.
Impressive.
Jack West in that number 92. Great qualifying for him. Started it on the front row of the grid. His start, though, wasn't the greatest. He did run wide there through the Bruno Ferrari S's, as, of course, down the inside, Ewan Charman doing Ewan Charman things and denying that inside line.
And now Macaulay Bishop doing Macaulay Bishop things by just making moves where, where he wants to. And that was Brian Truman, the original Uncle Tyrone, Brandon Truman, getting forced out of the way, and Jack West thinking to himself, I've been to the Macaulay Bishop School of Aggression, as he now has a little route around the rear bumper of Kai Hunter. Kai Hunter, who is a wise old fox, doing a lot of racing out in the United States, is Kai Hunter as well. And there is a move, Jack West, P2.
Nicely done there, down the inside, and now Kai's just trying to think, what do we need to do now? Because Henry Gregory, as you like to call him, Greg's on legs, is there in P4, trying to close in now, going wheel to wheel through the Fullerton S's. This time not close enough, stays behind, and we'll assess the situation. But Bobby Gain Corner is another story, and that's as close as you'd like to see it. And now Greg's he's done the jump, hasn't he? He's moved into the Rotax category.
Yes, see the light.
So yeah, he's. I disagree. But there we go. But no, well, see, running a little bit wide there. Oh, I tell you what, this is kicking off a little bit here, Henry.
Yeah, it is indeed. Kai Hunter deciding I don't want to follow Jack West. I want to pass him. And of course, that one move that didn't happen for Hunter has backed this whole group up. And Jack West there trying to say to Kai Hunter, come on, push with me. But Kai Hunter saying, I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
You were a junior last year. Do I trust you? I don't know. The best thing is to get you out of the way. And that is something that all drivers have to sort of put up with as they move through the classes. Oh, and there's a 3-wide action going into the Fullerton S's as you either move up the classes or come across from different championships. The regulars, they've got to suss you out first. And they will just think, right, I don't know you. I don't know what you race like, so out the way you go. And you've got to try and earn your stripes, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly that. And that's why the senior category is one of those interesting classes, because you do have those drivers who have been in the category for multiple years, and then when you get that new fresh face come into the category from the juniors, it can really shake things up, and that's why we see these really close-knit battles here. I'm loving this fight, though, at the front. Hunter Motorsport 1-2, though. Charman and Hunter trying to break away. Gregory, though, under pressure. Bishop on that rear bumper, trying to get the moves done, but Gregory holding him at bay just for now.
Bishop, the reigning British senior Rotax champion, wearing the number 1 plate. It's hard to believe that in the modern era, which only began in 2019 when Motorsport UK took over the running of the British Championship, Bishop has won no less than 4 titles. Army Cadet, Junior X30, Junior Rotax and Senior Rotax. He's the most decorated driver in the championship in terms of wins, championship wins. Kai Hunter, the most decorated driver in the British Championship in terms of final wins. But that's a discussion for another day. There is a train of karts, mercy sakes alive, looks like we've got us a convoy going onto the banking, and I love that shot, that high-up camera shot. Look at the difference in elevation down the hill. That is a steep hill, Anthony.
It certainly is, and it always brings these brilliant runs down into the hairpin at turn number 1, hairpin 1 I should say. This is 7th place all the way down to 22nd. That's an extensive group of drivers there.
Yeah, one mistake, but of course 22nd place in a heat race, that's going to put you under pressure for your next heat race, and if that goes badly, then that's going to put you under even more pressure for your superheat, and if that goes badly, there's no main event. Now I did see that Kai Hunter now has the fastest lap. Harrison Crowther was holding on to the fast lap. Harrison Crowther, great to see On Point Media here looking after, as well as Fuel Your Media. We've got loads of great photographers, digital creators here doing a fantastic job covering the British karting scene. We talk about the Orange Army quite a lot, the Marshals.
Here we go.
The Pink Army, which is all the media, they're getting larger and larger in terms of their number, not their diets.
Yes.
Yeah.
While you were saying that, there was a change for the lead.
Oh,
Kai
really?
Hunter
Go-karting.
going for it. There is a race happening, Henry. Yeah, Jack West following suit as well. They have now got past. They are pushing away from Charman. And more disasters there, unfortunately, in. That is one of the Guy Cunnington
Luca
racing
Posick.
teams. Yeah, Luca Posick out of this race. And I think as well, having a moment potentially with Jack Killingham, but we're not too sure. Eyes on this one, 2.5 minutes to go. Now we've seen this change through. Hunter in the lead. Are we going to see these two break away here? Charman just wasn't able to break away. And you can see that body language there, just kind of egging himself along, thinks, I don't think I've got the outright pace in this run. Yeah,
smart driving from Ewan Charman. He didn't back them up too much because suddenly there would be a 9-kart battle for the race lead. Do you want a cup of tea?
I'd love one, yeah. That's not full of your old grid paper, please. Well, here we go. No, it's not over just yet because, well, Jack Way's taken the lead. Hunter trying to fight back now. These two side by side with still 2 minutes plus that 1 lap to go. This is very early for a lead fight. Here comes Gregory. Henry Gregory is back into play. It is a 4-kart battle. Tristan Rennie, and who is it? Macaulay Bishop closing in the background there as well. This is going to be a 6-kart battle for the lead here. But is it going to be a Hunter Motorsport 1-2? It's not.
No, nose cone trapped.
Yeah, indeed. The nose cone getting caught in that rear wheel. And unfortunately, Ewan Charman will go no further in this race. In terms of racing at the front, that's 1 out of that lead group, and now Henry Gregory there in 2nd place has got Macaulay Bishop for company. This is going to be, well, another exciting last few laps of this race.
Yeah, we talk about drivers. The yellow flags waving coming off the bridge. Excuse me. And of course we talk about drivers who are new to each other. Henry Gregory, meet Macaulay Bishop. There we go. Jack West trying to go through as well. There's a squeeze. Bishop defending the inside. Bishop takes 2nd. Gregory, he's 3rd. He had one Dan Holland racing driver in front of him for a while. That was Jack West. He's got another one in front of him now in the shape of Macaulay Bishop. But Tristan Rennie doing an excellent job in the number 76 Craft Motorsport kart. Just hanging on there. And there's a wagon.
Deacon Russell.
With Deacon Russell, with all the wheels attached to that wagon.
I'm not too sure. The Jack's Motorsport kart stricken there at the exit of the Litchfield Bridge. 20 seconds left on the timer. Last lap board will be out this time to the field as they make their way up the hill. Are those yellow flags still out? No, they are not. They are clear and racing, and Henry Gregory there is under pressure once more. I
was going to say, they were flashing underneath the Kart Sim barrier there. Kart Sim, another of the great new partners, the great partners that we've got there. And you're not going to get that on your simulator. That's only what happens in real life as Gregory, Rennie, and was that Harry? Who else was it?
No, that was Jack West. It was Jack West, the DHR.
Has gone wrong. I was going to say, That's sort of a kart sim type move, possibly.
Well, they've all got going again. However, at the end of this race, that's not what you want to see. The timer has struck 0. Last lap board out this time, and it's Kai Hunter and Macaulay Bishop 1-2 now. Half a second separate those two, Henry. It's going to be a close fight, but over 1 lap, I think Kai Hunter might have this one sealed in the bag.
Yes, cast your minds back, ladies and gentlemen, to Kart Masters here last August. Kai Hunter and Macaulay Bishop warmly shaking each other by the throats at the end of it all. All is fair in love and karting. That was a long time ago, however. I'm sure that they've kissed and made up since then, because, of course, Kai spent a long time mentoring Macaulay Bishop. Here is a look, and it was Gregory up over the back of Rennie into West. West is a 360. Good replay action there from the Wera Tools replay booth. As we look at, yes, nice and calm on the final lap.
Yeah, no dramas here for these two. They certainly had to work for it, though. Macaulay Bishop dropping back in that order in those early stages. Certainly fighting back, though, those 3 places gained, plus Kai Hunter's 2 places gained. We were going to keep an eye on them, and that is exactly why. Checker flag goes out then. Kai Hunter and Macaulay Bishop claiming that 1-2. Close over the line, though, for P5. But Brandon Truman just ahead of Joshua Turnbull there for the top 6 spots there. Second place, Macaulay Bishop, Harry Bartle, Matty Hinchley rounding out the top 4 from Brandon Truman, Joshua Turnbull from Archie Walker, Mikey Walker and Jack Lilly. Jack West rounding out the top 10 in the end of that race. But that's exactly what we're expecting to see in the seniors. You've got you've got 2 very experienced drivers there going 1-2 who didn't put it on pole.
Yeah, and congratulations to Harry Bartle, moving into the Junior Janetta Championship as well. Last year's British Junior Rotax champion. Matty Hinchley, didn't mention him all race, comes through 4th position. You mentioned there Archie Walker. Archie Walker, he's been ranked 7th and 6th and 4th in the UK. He's won a couple of British Championship rounds, but he's got to get it done now in the big one-off events. Of course, it's winner take all here. Hunter knows how to get it done when it matters most, a one-off round, a 4-time O-Plate champion. Ewan Charman gets going again. Harrison Crowther in 14th place. Forgot to mention, we were mentioning On Point Media, Fuel Your Media, Crossbar Marketing is here too. And people watching from Vancouver, Canada. Vancouver, go the Canucks. That's an ice hockey reference.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't watch ice hockey.
I only watch it for the fights. And I was in the USA when Canada beat them in the final, which was quite humorous.
Was it?
Yes, because have you ever seen a bunch of rednecks throwing themselves around a bar swearing? It was very, very funny indeed.
Henry, our humour is drastically different.
Well, it was, but even the Canadians, they were as they were celebrating, they were apologising because they're so well mannered. There's the Nathan Chafer racing graphics. Nathan, on his CRG, is out. He's abandoned us for Albert Park. Out watching the Australian
He's
Grand
away.
Prix, along with a good friend of British karting, the British Pro Kart Endurance Champion, Jess Alexander, who's out there as the official representative of Racing Pride.
Excellent stuff.
Excellent stuff. Great work, Jess.
We're going to be talking a lot about many important things over the course of this weekend. One of those main important things is the driver's hair. George Holbrook there just coming into shot is one of those things. We were talking about it again.
Well, speaking of hair, there's Oki Pryor.
Yeah, again.
Savage now in a go-kart. Former runner-up in the British Car Championship.
Yeah.
Now tugs around at about 19th place. Brilliant comb back hair. Exquisite.
We like to say the most expensive thing in the paddock is the karts. It's completely wrong. It is the hair products of the drivers.
Absolutely. There it is. I mean, it's not a hair out of place. I haven't had a hair out of place for 3 or 4 years now.
You had hair?
Once. Not for 3 or 4 years.
Once
there's Brian and Truman.
Dark time of everyone's lives.
We were talking about it. The curtains are making a comeback in the paddock, ladies and gentlemen. About 2 years ago, everyone had to have their fringe about 12 inches off the front of their forehead.
There's still a few drivers like
that.
There's
still a few, but now it's curtains. We've gone back to 1998. It's because 5 are coming back.
There we go. Well, that's that. We've got plenty more races to come, though. It's time. Micromax UK is coming up next.
the youngest members of the Rotax family, Micromax. Here we go, pole position, LBJ Stubbs, and from Lithuania, Benedictus Masiokas. Dian Pahal and Charlie Page go from row number 2.
Row number 3 sees Ralph Martin and Albert Farrow. They'll be joined by Dax Faria and Harris Barber on row number 4.
Row number 5, Dimitar Uzunov and Otto Amy, Ansel Murray and Chloe McGill.
Row number 7 sees Alfie Garrett and Zach Andrew, Jason Darlow and Ted Hayward. They ran out row number 8.
Harley Brereton and Max Armitt, Freddie Walker and Oliver Woodall round out your top 20.
Row 11 sees George Simmons and Will Wainwright. They'll be having Sebastian Crawford rounding out the 23 kart field on row number 12.
Lots of really interesting stories amongst these young drivers. We do have a history maker among them. Number 32, Ralph Martin. He is the 2024 Motorsport UK Might E Bambino champion, the very first person in motorsport in the UK to win an official British title in an electric powered vehicle. Number 32, there he is, third row of the grid. He's obviously the Might E Bambinos. He's now too old for that, so he's gone old school, internal combustion. There is Dian Pahal on the second row of the grid for the RCE team. LBJ Stubbs leads them to the line for a false start.
So there we go.
Micromax, ladies and gentlemen, what are they? They're the youngest, the smallest engines in the Rotax family. These drivers, 8, 9 and 10 years of age.
Yes, indeed. But the fiercest of the racers over the course of a weekend.
Yes,
without
indeed.
a doubt.
The UK is currently home to the Rotax Grand Finals Micromax champion, Joshua Cook, who's now moved up into Minimax. Amongst the drivers who are here, well, Charlie Page finished second in this event a year ago. Alfie Garrett was third in this event a year ago. LBJ Stubbs and Benedictus Masiokas with the Ayrton Senna crash helmet. The Ayrton Senna replica Masiokas, obviously based in the UK now, but Lithuanian heritage. LBJ Stubbs doing a bit of racing out in the UAE, out in Dubai and Abu Dhabi over the course of the winter months. Had a bit of support, the Sam Pollitt Racing driver from the likes of Josh Cook and Jade Edwards. There's Dian Pahal with the Kanda on the back of his crash helmet. A young driver. Over the winter, Dian has been doing radio shows, BBC Asia, local, radio productions, interviews for the Sikh population of this, great ambassador, Dian Pahal.
Certainly so. Here we go then. Bit of debris on the infield there, but we are racing this time around in Micromax for the first time this weekend. Good start for Stubbs, not having to worry about too much of anything. They're down the inside as the rest of the field slot through into the sunshine, though, Henry. The sun, for the first time, I think, this weekend has made an appearance.
It is, and of course, without wanting to sound any negative, it's sort of a low sun.
It is.
And as you're driving down the main straight, the sun is going to be directly into these young drivers' eyes. But there's Charlie Page making a move. New leader, Dian Pahal. And he's speaking to Dian's dad, and he's saying they've been working really hard over the winter. And Dian looks over his shoulder and trying to pull away now. There's Page in the number 33 kart in second. Albert Farrow up into P3. Albert, this is the first season he's not been on the same grid as his older brother Arthur. Both Arthur and Albert went to do the Rotax Winter Trophy in Orlando, Florida earlier this year. They spent 2 weeks out in Orlando along with James Roots was out there, Riley Cranham was out there, and they both did very, very well. Did the Farrow brothers and Roots. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But it's good experience. Now they come back to their home countries and they use that international experience. New leader, Charlie Page.
Yes, indeed. Well, as they head over the Litchfield Bridge, you can just see there again the train starting to form up in this early stage It's all about the slipstream in these lower classes, of course. They haven't got as much power as the rest. They can't power their way out of these little mistakes. They work in these trains. They push themselves along to try and open up those gaps. And here at PFI, it's a perfect place to do that. Long straights, long slipstream opportunities.
Now, Anthony Jordan, as you're well aware, Alpha Live provide us with all the imagery you're thinking, but where did the timing come from? Well, the timing comes from motorsport-timing.co.uk. Mr. Ian Rogers, who's there on the stream, first time. He's a mythical figure. We've mentioned him for years, but nobody has ever seen him. It's like the lesser spotted, Ian Rogers. There he is. Exactly. He is the brains behind, and I will say this, not because he's my mate, because it's a fact, he is the brains behind the best timing and scoring system in the entire sport of kart racing. And there is two wheels on the curb. Dian Pahal back to the race lead. Suddenly we got 5 at the front.
We certainly do. That was a nice little chop and change there, but it's not going to last too much longer though. Charlie Page back down the inside. 3 hairpin number 1, and that has gone from bad to worse as Albert Farrow and Dian Pahal closing and making a little bit of a moment there with wheel contact, but they sort themselves out. But albeit dropping a little further down in the field now.
Yes, these Micromax karts, they're the only class in the Rotax division not on Mojo rubber. They're on Vega. And they're very narrow, these tyres. So the tyres on these micros, they're actually much sort of thinner. I don't know what that feels like. But the profile is much less. However, the lap times are still the same. But those front tyres, they look a little bit on the spindly side.
Well, like you say, it's aerodynamics. They cut through the air a little bit. It's one of those. That's my excuse for it.
Oh, well, there we go. And Dian having another. That's not Dian, sorry. That is Benedictus Masiokas, privateer driver. He's done as a privateer, but that's a Screed Flooring Racing livery. Screed Flooring, SFR Motorsport. Nathan Rawlins has brought Screed Flooring Racing back from temporary extinction. Is that a word? Kind of temporary extinction. Hibernation. Nathan did oh dear. That's the number 12 and the number 98. The number 98 of Ansel Murray there for the RCE team. But yeah, Nathan Rawlings, he had a couple of years helping to run the Strawberry Junior program. Did a great job of that. Has gone to bring back his own team, SFR Racing. And Ansel Murray, that's a black and red crash helmet. That's the style of my favourite Formula 1 driver of all time, Piercarlo Ginzani. There we are.
So, well, there we go. 3.5 minutes to go of the session. And look at that, fastest laps of the race as well. Masiokas looking very strong here at the front, but has got that close pressure of Page and Stubbs just behind. And Stubbs, again, taking a very tighter line through the banking there as they go over. And it always looks like he's going to send it down the inside. Gets to the exit, though, loses that little bit of time there and holds that small gap. But crucially, they're not really fighting. They're opening the gap up. Albert Farrow, who's there in P4, has got an opportunity to close in. He has got drivers behind who could help him out here in the form of Dian Pahal and Alfie Garrett. But again, the pace there just showcasing that these two at the front here, Masiokas and Page, are looking just that little bit faster than the rest of the field.
2 things, good news, bad news.
Good news first, please.
Good news, Alfie Garrett's got family watching from Barbados.
Excellent. Bad news?
Benedictus Masiokas has been given a 5-second penalty. Yeah, so Benedictus, there he is. That lead is no longer a lead. Now, there is a big digital screen here. You can just see the backs of it there underneath the Rotax Racing and the Wera Tools banners. That will have shown a 5-second penalty. So Benedictus will know he has a penalty. Page and Stubbs will also know they have penalties, and there are 2 drivers in a wall. It
is, that's Harley Brereton and George Simmons, unfortunately. 2 of the privateers who have collided into each other at the exit of the Fullerton S's. But as you can see, one of them has got going again. Unfortunately for the other, it is a retirement.
PBR Racing, Peanut Butter Racing.
Peanut butter?
Oh.
Yeah?
Mention peanut butter now.
Stop mentioning food.
There's Fraser Glasby on the screen there, just doing a lot of social media stuff for Motorsport UK and Alpha Live. We'll talk about some of the improvements that you will see during the British karting season as the weekend progresses. So, Benedictus Masiokas leads on the road. Charlie Page will lead when Benedictus unfortunately has his Penalty applied. Albie Stubbs in third, Dean Pahal fourth, Albert Farrow fifth, Alfie Garrett sixth, Otto Amy is seventh in the number 77 car for the Coles Racing team. Very talented young man here. He's got Tom Smith International here helping him out. Tom Smith Tweed. Tom Smith Tweed. If you want a Range Rover or a house in Surrey, then seize your man.
There you have it.
At reasonable prices.
Yes.
Yes. Back to the go-karting.
Back to racing.
Yes. Otto Amy, there he is, the number 77. He's just dropped behind Ralph Martin. Oh, Page on the grass. So, new leader. It will be a new leader. Dean Pahal into second place. So, Page and Stubbs tripped over each other. Pahal, second place on the road. Benedictus Masiokas with 30 seconds left. That's going to give it's going to open up his advantage, but it's not going to be 5 seconds, is it?
No, I don't think so. So technically, on paper, we are watching the battle for the lead here.
There's the new camera shot, sorry, Anthony. Great view over the ambulance. They're looking down at the circuit to give you an idea of the elevation changes. Here's a question. The gap is 1.1 seconds. We've got... next time around, they'll get the last lap board. If Dean Pahal now starts to defend and trip over these 5 drivers trip over each other, can Benedictus Masiokas extend his lead to 5 seconds over the course of 1.5 laps?
It's a double-edged sword here for Dean Pahal. Yes, you want to defend that lead because they will have seen the 5-second time penalty go out to Masiokas, so they'll know that he's got that. They won't want him to break away. However, because Dean Pahal knows he's technically in the lead on paper, he will defend this position, and yes, that gap could very much open. We've not seen those battles happen just yet. Pahal looking still very comfortable there in second place on track, first place on paper. But at the last lap board's coming out this time, Henry, I suspect we may see a fight.
Yes. Now look at this. The 33 of Page and the 42 of Garrett, second and third in this event last year. You would think, well, I mean, they're a year older now. They're bound to be way up at the front. Well, they are still at the front, but of course, other drivers working hard, improving, gaining experience as well. If you're standing still in karting, you're going backwards.
Yeah, certainly so. Right, this is where we're seeing it. And there you're seeing Albert Farrow saying, no, don't do that, because now look what you're going to do. And straight down the inside, Charlie Page takes full advantage of that. But again, for Pahal, that's a smart decision. He's trying to distract the drivers. He's trying to open up those little gaps. But crucially, he has not lost the 4 seconds that he had in the bag there. So he's still in a really strong position here.
Yes, indeed. There's Garrett for the MLC Motorsport team. And now Farrow having to defend. And Albie Stubbs, the Sam Pollitt Racing outfit in 6th position. Oh, Page having a little look on Pahal. This could be for the race win after Masiokas' penalty. Dean Pahal is about to hold on. Page, Farrow run each other wide. The checkered flag goes out. Masiokas takes the win of the road. Pahal second. Page and Garrett separated by 100th of a second as they cross the line. Then it is Albie Stubbs, Albert Farrow, Otto Amy, Ralph Martin, Dax Farah, and Dimitar Uzunov rounds out the top 10. Harris Barber, great graphics, you can see all the logos there. However, the driver that finishes in 11th place, we kind of, when they move up there, there's your top 10. And we missed. 11th place was Harris Barber. Zach Andrew is next, followed by Ted Hayward, Chloe McGill, Jensen Darlow, Sebastian Crawford, Max Armitt, Oliver Woodall, Will Wainwright. Say that after a couple of sherbets. Freddie Walker and Ansel Murray was the last driver to finish the race. Harley Brereton. Oh, Harley Brereton is still out there. But
managed to get restarted.
Yes, there he goes. As we now look. Now, of course, as the recovery drive goes off, there is the SFR Motorsport. Good to see. So two teams returning to karting this year. SFR Motorsport and Global Karting, which is, really, really good for the sport. The more teams there are in the sport, the more variety the drivers have. Of course, there's still room for the privateers, and we will have some privateers in every class. But as we watch the drivers come through at the end of the Micromax race. Let's hear from some of the great people that help make this event possible.
Here at Demon Tweaked, you probably know us for our massive kartwear range. We've got everything from suits, boots, gloves and helmets from the biggest brands in the business. But we are so much more than that, because if you're looking for kart parts, well, we've got you covered too. We've got everything from Rotax parts, sprockets and chains, discs and pads, data loggers and dashers, fuel tanks, steering wheels, bead breakers, and loads more. But of course, it doesn't just stop at the track, and if you're looking to build your skills in the sim, then we've got everything you're going to need to build the ultimate rig. So whether you're just getting started or you're already at the top of your game, Demon Tweaks has got you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2025 Rotax British O-Plate. It is Minimax 950 heading out onto the circuit yet. 18 rows, 36 is a full capacity grid, and it starts with Edward Haynes and Emerson McAndrew-Urin on row number 1. Leo Livings and Max Jolly, they go from row 2. They'll have Josh Cormack and Tom Reed rounding out the top 3 rows. Joshua Griffin and Austin Gibson go from row number 4. Row 5 sees Alfie Mayer and Ryan White on the Cadet Man, pushing his way forward now in Minimax, starting this one on row number 5. Ollie Thompson and Riley Murrow on row 6. Joshua Cook and Austin O'Man go from row 7. They'll have Max Gilman and Max Wheatley on row number 8. Logan Rolfe and Sebastian Behrman go from row 9. They'll have Luke Millwood and Benjamin Lawn on row 10. Aidan Hammond and Sebastian Clark go from row at number 11. Harry Radcliffe and Theo Bradshaw go from row 12. They'll have Jensen Walker and James Roots on row 13. Alfie Ward and Maria Roberto go from row 14. She's got a fantastic helmet livery. Has Maria Roberto, keep an eye on that one from the 14th row. The A-plate of Thomas Jackson, we'll talk a little bit of that one later on. We'll start on row 15 alongside Alessandro Salas, Jack Fulbrook-Hammer and Soren Gallagher. Arthur Farrow, MZ Rosie, Lucian Smith and Oliver Spencer clearly didn't have a good qualifying. Starts it on the final row, row 18. We are into the tram lines. We are not racing. It is a false start, which gives Henry Burdett a little bit of time to pose himself, getting back in the commentary box. Henry,
yes,
clearly not a great qualifying there for Oliver Spencer, the number 8 seed from this class last year.
And a former O-Plate champion.
Yeah, former O-Plate champion, starting it at the back of the field.
That'll be an interesting one. Well, there's 36 drivers. The biggest mover we've had in all the races we've had so far was Aston Sharp.
Yeah.
Up 20 places.
I believe so,
well,
yes.
Challenge gauntlet laid down. And Nicole Sutherland is busy out there in the paddock, and she's relaying lots of very bits of important information to us about various bits of bobs that's happening around the circuit, but we'll see. So, Oliver Spencer, how many positions can the young KR Sport driver gain? 4th in last year's Rotax Grand Finals in this class. Here we go then. Edward Haynes, new colours this year. He's moved over to Strawberry Racing. Emerson McAndrew-Urin, again, staying 2nd year in the class, like Haynes, but Emerson staying with the Dan Holland Racing team. Leo Livings and Max Jolly on the 2nd row. There's Josh Cormack and the farmer, Tom Reed, in kart number 10 for the SFR team. Now the lights are out and we're off and racing into turn number 1. A capacity grid, 36 drivers, the maximum that's allowed, and a couple of ones in the back go for a spin. And that will have given Oliver Spencer a couple of positions. New leader as they come off the bridge. Not quite. Leo Livings had a go. But no, who's that? Is that the number 9? Oh, Spencer having a nightmare. Spencer had a problem, and that's just Josh Cormack has taken the lead. So, the Falkirk Tyre and MOT sponsored driver, the only driver in British Championship history to win a race by a clear lap. Cormack has the advantage early doors in this one.
He certainly has, yeah. Nice little breakaway for him, but not too far, though. Edward Haynes still there in P2 as we watch this battle here kicking off just in the background. Nice drivers making their way through the field. You see there, Leo Livings looking very, very strong as well. You can see him in the KR liveried Kart pushing his way forward. Max Jolly there also just a little further back as they get themselves sorted out. It's dropped down to P7, but Emerson McAndrew-Urin there in third place, still in a strong spot, especially if this is going to kick off, because look at that, Edward Haynes back to the lead, Henry.
The last 2 years, the Minimax class has been, in my opinion, the highlight of the entire Wera Tools British Kart Championship, with the likes of Cole Denham, Jacob Ashcroft, Albie Friend. They've all now moved up. Jacob Ashcroft, of course, winning the Rotax Grand Finals in juniors last year. The new school, the latest raft of Minimax drivers here, they are just as good. Let's see if the racing remains as respectful. The thing bodes well, look at the amount of seeds that have returned. Look at all the single digits at the front. The 9 seed, the 7 seed, the 3 seed, the 5 seed, the 10 seed. Half of last year's seeded drivers in this race and up at the front. And Oliver Spencer, who is also in this race, but he's down at the back of the field. So the majority of the national seeds from last year are back this year, which bodes very, very well.
It certainly does, doesn't it? Down the hill they go, and again, any lunges this time around. Thinking about it there for Leo Livings, but just stays behind. Seeded numbers. Great to see so many of those numbers from the British Champs back from that one. I want to talk a little about the A plate. Thomas Jackson. The A plate for me, I saw it in the entry list, brand new for me. I'd never heard of it before, and then I did some research on the interweb, Henry, and I sourced information. It's from Scotland.
Yes.
I thought there was only the one plate from Scotland, which was the S plate, which I've not actually seen for quite a while running.
Has the S plate for the Scottish Super Series been superseded by the A plate?
No, because the S plate still exists. Yes, the A plate is from the Super Series, but the S plate is still another series. It's another series out there. So there's two. There's the S plate and the A plate, but I didn't realise there was two.
See, if I'd have known that back when I was racing, I would have tried to get both those plates, so I could run as the AS and just be known as an ass.
Right. Cool. Here we go. Emerson McAndrew-Urin looking for the lead here. Down the inside at hairpin number 1. Textbook, little overtake there, no drama whatsoever. That's Spencer, isn't it? And I think out of this race, something clearly not right there.
Well, I mean, there was a couple of incidents amongst the drivers, the back of the field in the opening lap, but of course Spencer starting at the back may have sort of got caught up in one of those. Miroslav Dimitrov, I've got to say, not sure about the waving and the people gesticulating the Micromax race. They're 9 and 10 years old. They're just saying hi to each other at 60 miles an hour. You know,
it's one of those.
If you're new to karting, you will see lots of hand gestures from the drivers. That's their way of communicating with each other. That's not insults at each other. That's saying, okay, let's push, or what are you doing, or they do communicate with each other about tactics during the race.
They do.
You know, I have to say. Yeah, there are some communications which are less than savoury, but I think in that last race, it was probably drivers, first Slim Shady of the day belongs to Emerson McAndrew-Urin. Round the outside, new leader.
Nicely done there again. We always love around the outside move here at PFI. We see them in so many different places. We've seen them into the banking, hairpin 1. Now we've seen them into this very corner here, Bobby Game corner. I think we saw around the outside of 3 and 1, I think.
Either Jeff Hall and Noah Wolf.
And Noah Wolf did it as well, yeah, indeed. We see it multiple times. My favourite hand gesture, though, that I've seen at PF International would have been down in towards turn number 1, a certain race.
The wave.
The famous wave.
The Callum Bradshaw wave. That to Kai Hunter at Kartmaster a few years ago, and look it up on the interweb. The infamous wave. It was very, very funny. And there's Joshua Griffin. Global Karting's Joshua Griffin having a little look at Edward Haynes, and Edward Haynes saying, you can look but don't touch. And there's Haynes, the race leads, and now McAndrew-Urin's getting squeezed. He's got to be careful. He'll move back across take the line. That opens the door to Leo Livings to come through. There's Riley Murrow in the number 22 for Sam Pollitt Racing. As it's chopping and changing here. More chopping going on than in Gordon Ramsay's kitchen.
Yeah, that was good racing though. Nice side by side, no real banging of the wheels. Clean racing here in Minimax 950. I've got to say, watching the Minimaxes over the course of my career in the British Kart Championships back in Deer, then seeing the karts change so much has been one of my biggest things. And
Vera
here is
Tools
that round the
replay.
outside.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Look at that. Oh, that's a good move.
Perfectly timed as well, because if Emerson had turned in a fraction earlier, he would have clouted the nose cone and spun them both out.
It's all kicking off again though, this time switching for the inside move for Emerson McAndrew in, and he's got it done. Switch over move though, Edward Haynes back through. And, well, they'll go wheel to wheel, side by side in towards hairpin number 2. He's got it done, though. Is that an out round the outside? Round the outside. It's a close one, though. And they're still side by side into the Fullerton S's.
And look who has made his way through into P2, Riley Murrow in kart number 22. And he's looking for the race leader. Oh, I did bring my tablets with me just to calm myself down. This is the first heat in this class. Oh, dear, that's Austin Oman. Oh, Austin Oman, last year's Micromax British Championship runner-up in the number 11 kart, out of the race. Yeah. And 35 of the 36 drivers make that 34. The 36 drivers still running. And of course, in Minimax, we've been so used to seeing a strawberry racing kart driver with a predominantly black and orange crash helmet of Albie Friend at the front. Same colours of the wagon, same colours of the crash helmet, but it's now Joshua Griffin who is leading the way for the Strawberry team. And I think, look at that, less than 10 seconds separating the top 10. Sebastian Behrman up into 9th for the Jacks Motorsport team. The clock is about to strike 0, Anthony, but the racing is certainly not over yet.
I'll just confirm it's Edward Haynes in the Strawberry kart.
Sorry, I was... You know, Andrew Mather said that you're babysitting this weekend. Yes, Henry, stop talking drivel. Of course, the point was correct. The point
was correct.
Yes. Sorry, Mr. Haynes.
I never point you out, but I just wanted to there because completely the wrong name.
Yes, completely the wrong name. Just completely got it wrong.
Final lap time, Henry.
Right, yes.
We're taking them to the end on this one. It's not over yet. Look at this. 4 karts all the way down that inside line there. It's a train to the end. Edward Haynes, though, trying to get it down the inside. It's not going to happen. Emerson McAndrew is in a really strong position here. However, not over yet. There's still plenty of overtaking opportunities. But right now, he's looking like he's got this one in the bag.
For those who've just tuned in, no, you haven't missed the first day and a half's racing, and this is not the final. You have tuned in at the correct time, and this is heat number 1.
It is.
Just heat number 1.
And how close is it?
It's very, very close. Here we go. It's going to go to Emerson McAndrew in the Dan Holland Racing number 3 kart over Edward Haynes. Griffin's in 3rd, Livings 4th, Murrow, and out of nowhere at the end there, Ryan White, the former Honda Cadet British champion in kart number 47 for the Jacks Motorsport team. Great top 6 finish. Max Jolly, Austin Gibson, a former Kart Masters champion, a former British champion in the Water Swift divisions. And if you're someone like Logan Rolfe, let's say Logan Rolfe for the Luke Christie racing team, end of race number 1, start 17th, saying, oh, Logan, you're going to finish less than 2 seconds behind the leader at the end of that. Logan's thinking, brilliant, probably a top 3, 10th. Very close. Just behind Joshua Cook. Now, don't sleep on the Cookie Monster. Why, might you ask? Well, the Cookie Monster has got a record, a very good record, of winning these big one-off races. He won last year's Micromax O-Plate. He won last year's Rotax International Trophy in Micromax, which is a one-off race at Le Mans in France. And he won the big one, the Rotax Grand Finals in Sarno in Italy. So when it comes to the one-offs, Joshua Cook knows how to get it done. There goes some of the drivers through. There's the global karting livery, or what's left of it. The number 5 of Joshua Griffin is going to give it a good workout. Now. We're very, very fortunate up here in...
it's...
Oh, okay. I'm being told by the voices in my head, as we look at Sebastian Behrman, we've got a video, but we're going to talk about good things afterwards.
Yes,
good things are happening.
Yes, certainly are. We're going to take
many good things.
Many good things, yeah. All new things happening in 2025. We are going to take a short break. Don't go anywhere. Like you say, that's a video coming up next, and there'll be a change of voice.
Ooh.
It's the Wera Tools Motorsport UK British Kart Championships you saw there briefly. Last year's 2024 champions, but it's now 2025. It's a brand new season, and it kickstarts here at the Paul Fletcher International Circuit. It is the British O-Plate, the Open Championship. And this one available to anyone with the Inter-Club licence this weekend. And, well, as you can see, typical, beautiful British weather. It is raining, it is pouring. James, the cameraman, earlier was snoring, but it's okay. He's stopped now. Let's go round. Let's talk about what's new. It's 2025, brand new season. Lots going to be happening. But before that, of course, talk about your media team this year. Of course, filled with so many new and some familiar faces. Henry Burdett, of course, is back for another season. You'll have Andrew Mather. You'll have Nicole Sutherland, Piers Pryor for a few of them as well. Myself, Anthony Jordan, I'm here for the O-Plate. Don't think you'll see me for the rest of it, but it is all starting, and already we're going to get run over here at PFI. This is a standard site, as our man there from PF gets that sorted out. Great catering here, the Torsion Cafe. That's certainly not new. That is something that's been here many, many times. But like we were saying, let's talk about those new things, because of course 2025, brand new season. What can we expect? Well, for the British Kart Championships, 10 new staff members for the Motorsport UK team. That are going to be coming to each and every round to help with tyre distribution, the organisation in the hospitality tent, with the scrutineering, everything like that. So a multitude of new staff that are joining here at the circuit. Another thing as well is the tyre awning, as well, a brand new tent, as I get waved by many familiar faces here in the... there you go. He's on camera. I'm sure Mum is watching. But yes, new tyre distribution tent. That is based actually just behind the KR Sport Team's awning just here. that also comes with a brand new truck as well, as we are sneaking past Jag Rotax, and Gary and Tina are here in show for all the needs that you can have. It's raining. Love it, the British weather. I don't think it's going to be like this all weekend, but it seems to be one of those. Right, so what are we talking about? Tyres, yes, brand new tyre trucks, things like this. Now, there's plenty of tyres being used over the course of this weekend. We have a multitude of categories, of course, with the open plate. We've got, of course, it being with Rotax. We've got the Micro Max, we've got the Mini Max 950, we've got Junior Max, and we've got Senior Max, all of them running slightly different tyre compounds. The D5s, the D2s, the C2s, I think it is, as well, all from Mojo. And then the Max's tyres being used for the Tillotson T4. The juniors and the seniors are here for Tillotson. They're not running in an O-plate. They are here for a Nations Cup qualifier this weekend at PF International. So that is another thing that you can certainly keep an eye on as well. More drivers just saying hi, I can see. Yes, hello there to the camera, but all saying hi in the back of the van there. Nice to see. Again, your big teams like here, Cato Motorsport, Coles Racing, MLC Motorsport, but then you've got in the van, turning up, nothing wrong with it. We were talking about new things. This is one of them, the tyre park. Fascinating to see, I'm sure, cardboard boxes, pallets, but it is the awning which is here, and of course with the awning comes a brand new truck as well. So the new tyre truck is here, and some of the new BKC team here with the tyre distributions going through, and yeah, you can see they're all working nice and hard, and smiles on the face as well. Come on. You've had a busy day. Who do we have here? You're one of our new BKC staff here. Please introduce yourself.
My name's Mark Jeremy, and I happen to be a friend of Richard Locke's, which is not a good recommendation, probably.
I won't tell Richard that. But yeah, you've been working on all the tyres, everything like that, and it's been a long, good day, is it? Excellent. Nearly finished on the day. So yes, brand new tent, brand new truck as well. Other new things, CCTV systems. Of course, here at PF International, there are many, many cameras, but of course, Motorsport UK, with their techie truck as well, they bring a multitude of CCTV cameras, and they are all over the circuit, brand new for that as well. So again, you can't get away with anything out on tracks. You've got to behave when you're out on circuit. That's nice and new. Some hospitality at some selected events, I believe that's to be confirmed, but nice to see, as our cameraman James is. We're in the way of everyone here at the moment, as practice is very much still underway here on Friday. Of course, this will be shown Saturday, Sunday, so plenty of happenings. I wonder if we can sneak in here a little bit. That says no unauthorised entry, so I'm sure we're allowed. Why not? And this is the tyre park. Everything kicking off in the back here. Driving standards, that's always been a big talking point over the last few years. That has been put into play now. There's new guidelines, new video that's been released as well. That will be available to the public. A new blue book as well. It's not even a blue book, it's a PDF. So saving on paper there, but you know, those are out again. They've been released. So again, keep an eye on those. As okay, this is something new for this season. Engines on. What's that sign say over there? Maximum 5 seconds. I don't know about you, cameraman James, but that, I think, was longer than 5 seconds. But anyway, we won't name and shame. Right, Blue Book, driving standards guidelines, we've gone over that. Scrutineering system as per the FIA. So, when they finish their sessions, they go into that building just there, behind the fences. That is the technical bay. That is scrutineering. And of course, a lot goes on behind there after those sessions. They will pick and choose karts of their choosing, of course, to make sure they all conform with inside the regulations. And there's a lot of it. I heard stories earlier on in actually this very weekend that someone had put a tyre on the wrong way round on the rim. So it was fine, but it was just the arrow was pointing the wrong way. And if that was in a official session, that's a disqualification. So again, they've got to be very, very careful with things like that. And I don't get it. It's freezing. You can see my breath. It's cold. Never fail to see a mechanic in shorts, ladies and gentlemen, in a British karting paddock. slowboard procedures as well. Brand new system for that. Usually it was a Battenberg flag in the UK for if there was an incident on circuit, they need to slow the field down. They would throw the Battenberg flag out originally, and yes, that would slow the field down. No more is that. Again, as per FIA regulations, they are going with the slow board procedure. It's exactly the same, except it's just a slow board. So basically, there'll be no more Battenberg flags, which is a shame because I'm sure my counterpart Henry loves Battenberg cake, so he won't get any more of those. And of course, new media policies as well. So there's a smattering of new things over the course of this 2025 season, not including as well the kart numbers. Now, you may remember, of course, we still have that implemented here with the likes of these number plates here. You've got the blue background with the white number indicating this is a senior Rotax. You have things like yellow boards with the black numbers and so on and so on. Those at the start of the 2025 season for the British Kart Championship, round 1, they will be no more. It will all be 3-digit numbers. So it'll be, for example, and not the actual case, it'll be the seniors are 100 and above, the juniors are 200 and above, and so on and so on. Effectively like that. So that is what we're expecting for this season. So that is good to see, because that's always been, for me in my simple mind, has been a little bit tricky to get the hang of. And of course, teams. There's some brand new teams on board. There are some familiar faces. You've got the likes of KR Sport, you've got Strawberry, they're back. Dan Holland Racing have come back with, again, one of the largest tents I've ever seen in my life. You've got so many more. One team, though, Origin Motorsport. Now, I don't see an Origin kart in here at the moment. We've got, I've not seen this one before, Indus, but on the Red Speed chassis, so it's an OTK product, and he's running one of the newer style NASA panels there, so good to see. Do we have one of the Origins here? No, we don't. Well, that's a pity. But basically, Origin Motorsport, a team that has been running in Dubai, in Motor City. They've also got a base in Newcastle as well, so they race for UK and in the Middle East. And they're here this weekend, their first appearance as well. With that comes new drivers as well. We've got drivers here who have not raced in the UK before. We've got drivers who have not raced at PFI before. So a smattering of new ones. So we are looking forward to seeing them here at the O plate. And of course, if you are watching this and wondering, Anthony, what is an O plate? Like I was saying, an open championship. It is a one-off. At the end of this one, you can run the O plate in any Motorsport UK registered karting event over the course of the season, as James once again is going to get run over there. There we go, as Jack Dex Racing wagon going through. But lots has changed over the course of this season, and we certainly look forward to seeing what is going to happen. The sun is setting on a beautiful, beautiful day here at PFI. Well, kind of beautiful. It was raining earlier on, but yeah, it's a little bit better now. But the sun is shining. I want to see if we can chat to a few drivers. There's Kian Garrett's kart just going through there. Kian racing a lot in Europe as well as here. And actually, why don't we have a quick chat with him? Kian, the sun is shining. It's very cold though. It's a wet track. British O plate. Are we looking forward to it?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be a close race. It always is usually in this class, and especially around this track. So yeah, I think it'll be a good one.
You've had a smattering of work running your own team. You've been working a lot in Europe, and then you're back here in the UK. How does it feel to be back on British soil?
Yeah, good. It's always nice to come back and do like the racing over here. I think the Europe racing always ends up kind of spreading out, whereas it's quite fun in the UK. It all kind of stays close together the whole way through, I think.
Yeah, indeed. And a one-off weekend at PFI, what could go wrong?
Nothing.
Exactly. Good man. Good man. Perfect stuff. Well, we'll let Kian Garrett get on with his qualifying. We'll dip into the paddock because we've got around 10 or so minutes left for our session. Again, I love this shot. These mechanics, they're still here with their drivers. They're kind of waiting. This is the bit where it's technical checks ahead of the weekend. They've done their session. I tell you what, James, let's do one better. Let's break in. Now, you can't do this if you are anyone else, but we're not anyone else. We can do things like this, and let's dive in. So these are junior maxes, aren't they? And you can tell that by the red backing with the white number. I said that while staring at someone who was listening to make sure I was getting it right. Thank you very much for that. Brilliant to see. Multitude of karts again. And as you can see how filthy it is out there, you can see that's just the spray. That is just the spray off the circuit. Absolutely horrid out there. Hunter Motorsport, I'm searching for a specific kart, and I have found it. The Beatul. There it is. The Beatul on the back there. No, it says Beatul Rebel.
Calling me a tool?
Absolutely not, no. But you've got probably the only kart in here that is not required to have the official sponsor stickers on because it's smothered in it.
Yeah, I don't know if we needed extra Wera stickers on.
Yeah, no, exactly. I don't think you do. I think you've done a pretty good job. Your pilot, Kian Bernard, just there. Kian, let's have a quick chat for you ahead of this weekend. How have you got mud on your face?
Well, my visor was steaming up, so then I had to open it, and then mud obviously went in my face. So. Yeah.
It looks like a mustache. It's fantastic. Well, yeah, Kian, ahead of this weekend, it's a British Open plate. It's a one-off at PFI. Always a fun weekend ahead in these sort of situations. How are you feeling ahead of it?
Yeah, I'm really confident. I did the PF plate like 2 weeks ago, and I was showing really strong pace, and now on a brand new frame I was really quick today, but even in the wet now in that session I was really quick. I think I got 6th or something, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, it's a brand new season for you. It's a new year. It's a new livery all over the kart and a new backing sponsor. So, yeah, it's certainly going to be a good one, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Congratulations. Well done. We'll see what he's going to do over the course of this season. There's a stray Kai Hunter who saw me and then immediately dipped out the way. Understandably, you've got the likes of Cold Denim there as well. You've got all sorts of names and faces here for technical checks. Matthew Higgins, you just see him there with his mechanic JP, just going through GP plate. That means he won the Kart Masters British Kart Grand Prix here at this very circuit, which is also a one-off event. If there is a driver that you want to keep an eye on over the course of this weekend for a one-off event at PFI, it is the man on that GP plate. Of course, there's a smattering of others. You've got O plates, we've got A plates here. That was something I learned over last night, the A plate. Now, it comes from Scotland. And I thought, right, okay, because I thought the S plate came from Scotland. Apparently, yes, the S plate does, but also the A plate. Now, that is the ASKC, and that is the Super Series, effectively, is where that A plate comes from. So I learned that one. And we have an A plate here this weekend, so very much looking forward to seeing how that gets on. We've got a Ewan Charman over here. Nicknamed Charmander, who, as well, like we were talking about, new things in 2025. This is, well, a new team for you in 2025 as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's going well. We did really well over the winter with Hunter. Boys have been really supportive, so hopefully good start to the year.
Exactly that, and I love how robust his suit is on this new suit. Charman on a piece of duct tape on the back, but at least it works. At least it doesn't say someone else's name, which is always a pain for commentators alike out there. Looking forward to that one over the course of this weekend. So, as these drivers get themselves sorted out, you can see testing still underway. There is still a senior session out there, and you can see how greasy it is. And this is the sort of worst sort of conditions that you can get right now. You've got the sun is shining, it's a wet track, you get the glare off the circuit, it's really cold. It's just, there's no grip out there whatsoever. And I just want to watch one of these karts come through. So you can see this is the Mike Wilson complex that they're coming through now. And you just see as they squirt the power, you can see it's understeering through the corner, everything like that. It's so difficult to control these karts through this. Because again, it's all just about finessing the throttle, really timing it right, getting it down, getting on that power, and just flicking it through the corner. Brilliant to see, but at this close range, because usually we're up in the commentary box, it's nice to be down here and see these karts right up and close. And there you can still, look at that, overtaking happening, fierce racing, even in Friday's qualifying. Oh, that's unfortunate timing for us to see in the show, but never mind, that happens all the way throughout the course of this weekend, I am sure. But plenty is going to be happening. There's a nice Pro Train jacket there with a Pro Train kart as well. Good to see Pro Train here There's a Smackering, there's an Argenti there as well, like say Chaos Sport, Dan Holland Race It, all the usuals here as well. Ultimate Eye, got an Ultimate R down there as well, tucked away. MLC, they're there. Lots of wagons, all filthy. Scrutineers will, I'm sure, love that. Well, plenty is going to be happening over the course of this weekend. Make sure you can watch it all live. You can catch it live on Alpha Live, everything like that. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic one as well. So we will keep an eye on everything. But of course, from us, we will head back to some of the action that is coming out on track here at PF International for the British O-Plate.
Here at Demon Tweaked, you probably know us for our massive cartwear range. We've got everything from suits, boots, gloves and helmets from the biggest brands in the business. But we are so much more than that, because if you're looking for kart parts, well, we've got you covered too. We've got everything from Rotax parts, sprockets and chains, discs and pads, data loggers and dashers, fuel tanks, steering wheels, bead breakers, and loads more. But of course, it doesn't just stop at the track, and if you're looking to build your skills in the sim, then we've got everything you're going to need to build the ultimate rig. So whether you're just getting started or you're already at the top of your game, Demon Tweaks has got you.
It's the Wera Tools Motorsport UK.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, from that short break. Tillotson T4 fans, do not worry. That was just an unofficial practice session that you missed. We will be covering the racing tomorrow. Here, meanwhile, is your starting lineup for race number 7, the Junior Rotax. Leon Hastie and Matteo Palazzo, an all-Scottish front row. GP plate champion Riley Cranham and Kai Clark go from row number 2. Harry Freeman and Charlie Wolfett go from row number 3. Cole Denham and Northern Ireland's Rory Armstrong on row 4. The top 10 rounded out by Harry Taylor and Louis Radcliffe. Lewis Sumner and William Archer go next. Then it's Ryan Gill and Ewan House, Albie Friend and Nathaniel Gray. And the top 20 is completed by Jake Blewett, Benjamin Baker, Joel Dixon-Cohen and Sebastian Luch. As you look at the remaining starters on what is a 33 kart grid, introducing a new voice. Well, not a new voice, but a new voice to these channels from BBC Essex, Jake Peach. Welcome to Karting, Jake.
Hello, Henry. How are you? Thanks so much for having us here, and it's such a pleasure to be here at this prestigious event. Back at PFI, I've been fortunate to be here for a couple of events, and we're underway with another one right now.
It is indeed, and it's a great start from the outside of the front row from Matteo Palazzo to take the lead. One driver in the middle of the pack goes for a spin out onto the banking. Now, Anthony will be back in the commentary box, but Jake, you're here. You've been to karting before.
Yes.
Obviously, you know, a voice very familiar to you listeners of BBC Radio at BBC Essex. But this is, you know, you've been around the paddock and you're really getting up close and personal with karting for, not to say the first time, but certainly we're blooding you well this weekend.
Yeah, it's just been an incredible experience to be here. I've been here at a couple of kart masters before here at PFI, and it's just incredible to see the circus all rolling in, how many like tents there are for every single team, and just how seriously and passionately they all take it. Of course they do. It's a very competitive sport, and of course I'm sure there'll be no stone left unturned in this race.
No, exactly. So Junior Rotax, end of lap number 1. The number 16 kart, KR Sports Matteo Palazzo leads from Leon Hastie. Riley Cranham up into 3rd position. Make that up into P2. The yellow and black global karting entry, Riley Cranham, moves into the 2nd spot. We've got a lead group of 6 now, and as you're learning, drivers, they don't like to stay in the same order for very long in karting.
No. It's a very rapid kind of situation, isn't it? I mean, moves changing all the time, and particularly something I was quite keen on seeing when, particularly today when I arrived. You know, Riley Cranham has that GP plate. No, that's very coveted, and
yes,
prestige comes with that. How much pressure does that put on the karting drivers?
Well, some drivers think of it as a good thing. Other drivers sort of they back away from it. Not everybody who is allowed to run the GP plate actually does so. Some of them do think it puts a target on you, but others, it's a confidence booster. Hey, I'm the Grand Prix champion. There's only one driver in every class in the country that can run the GP plate. It's held at Kart Masters the first weekend of August. So yeah, it's a badge of honour. There's something we haven't seen too much of, but some 3-wide action. Make that 4-wide coming off the bridge. But Cranham trying to pull away, and that's Kai Clark up into second place. There's the TB kart of number 38, Lewis Sumner, making up a position. And yeah, you've already learned that a lot's happened, Jake.
Yeah, a lot's happened, but particularly I remember seeing Cole Denham earlier in the previous races he was involved in. Didn't have so much luck last time. He's looking at P3 at the moment, much better round this time around the PFI circuit.
Yeah, the closer, Cole Denham, had an incident with his teammate Harry Taylor. Oh dear, and speaking of incidents, there's two drivers exploring the scenery. The number 26 being one of them. That's Ewan House for the Coles Racing team. Started on the 7th row of the grid and is now a lot further back. Where is Matteo Palazzo? Palazzo, now is that a transponder issue or has he disappeared? Now I think I can see Matteo's crash helmet, the pink and purple. So was that the 70? No, that's Harry Freeman. So Palazzo, well, haven't
Palazzo's down in 16th at the moment.
Oh, right, so he's obviously been
19th.
off. Maybe he was the driver, the second driver that went off track with the Coles Racing kart earlier on. And that's something as well. You can never take your eyes off the action for a minute. And have you been surprised, Jake, looking the amount of times drivers looking over their shoulders, not looking at the way they're going when they're so closely packed together?
Well, it's pretty brave, isn't it, just to even do that when they're travelling at these speeds. And people think, well, the go-karts, they're not that fast, but the power-to-weight ratio of how fast they're accelerating and how twitchy they are, just, the positive steering to actually, make those moves happen is, very dangerous. I specifically want to be looking over my shoulder going up into this curve and across the bridge here. And I was noticing earlier when I was out and about whilst you two were commentating earlier on, a lot of drivers were taking this inside curve there, as we see a replay now of this earlier action.
And that was where Palazzo went, and that over the grass, and the Coles Racing kart there doing a little pirouette. You just saw there briefly on the screen the Team Canada race suit being worn by Jacob Carnes. Maybe a little bit Jacob Carnes out there. Are you surprised with the amount of fact you come to it was Pierce Wade.
Pierce Wade, yeah.
Were you surprised with coming to the British Open and you're seeing, in this race alone, you've got drivers from Latvia, from Poland, from Kenya, as well as Canada. Was that something that surprised you as a relatively new fan of this level of karting?
Well, again, that's quite remarkable, but as we know, motorsport is a global enterprise. Everyone is vying for their own kind of prestige and championships. Of course, Britain holds very much a lot of weight in the global scene of motorsport, and it's most of the time kind of seen as the birthplace of motorsport in a lot of senses. So, and coming to PFI, of course, everyone knows how prestigious PFI is, particularly as well. And being at Kart Masters, like I said, for the last couple of times, you just can see how you hear the stories. Even when I was here last time, how far people will travel, families, what they give up. I'm sure you've seen that many a time, Henry, of the sacrifice that is made just to even have a slim chance of progressing up those pyramids. So it kind of does surprise me, but following other forms of motorsport as well, it doesn't at the same time.
Yeah, and of course you're looking at, you're more familiar with the likes of Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3.
Bit of Frecker as well.
Formula Renault Euro Cup,
yes,
that would be. That one. And the amount of drivers, obviously, we've got 5 British drivers in Formula 1 at the moment, all of whom have graced this circuit many times over the years. Now, speaking of gracing the circuit, there was a move. That was a Sam Pollock Racing kart picking up a position. No, it was the Craft Motorsport kart of Leon Hasty. Cole Denham now defending. And, oh dear, there's the number 53. That is a NASA panel.
That's Harry Taylor is out.
Yeah, so again, that's 2 bad results for Harry because he had an incident in the first one with 66 drivers. Of course, you have the superheat tomorrow. At the end of the superheat, the top 36 in the points, because of course you're always scoring points in karting in the heats, will go through to the main event, and everybody else, well, they can beat the traffic on the way home.
Now, what I was saying earlier, but particularly about the curbs here at PFI and coming up round onto the bridge, is that some people were being incredibly brave in my mind, taking an awful lot of curb, but also a lot of exit curb. And I know it's a trade-off between momentum and actually gaining a lot of lap time. But I mean, from your experience, seeing a lot of people running out wide here at the turn we're seeing now, how much lap time can they gain from those little, the kind of small inferences?
If you use the curbs correctly, you could gain a lot of time, but it's a fine line, because as Kai Clark taking the lead of the race there in the number 76 kart for KR Sport, although Cranham, Cranham coming back, and there's a bit of action going on down in the pits.
I've got a GP plate on, excuse me, I'm coming through, and holding that prestige.
Exactly, that's generally a very good way of looking at it. Right, Harry Taylor,
he's back out
on the pits. Now, of course, if he's come in with a problem, you can get the kart fixed exit through a specific lane. That is allowed. But Cranham defending in karting. Now, the clock is about to strike 0. And this is where you'll see Cranham. And, of course, that's also you see Leon Hasty saying, out the way you go, son. It's very, very close indeed. And of course, there's track limits in karting. There's certain rules about how long you're allowed to defend for. I mean, it's now, next time around, the clock has struck 0. You'll see the last lap board. So defending obviously now, but you won't see drivers hugging the white lines with like 8 minutes to go, because that will be a penalty. One of the many nuances in this sport. Harry Freeman now up into 5th position, but look how quickly fortunes can change. Cranham finds himself back to 4th.
Yeah, and we've got Kai Clark really trying to pressure into this last lap here as we go round PFI in this junior Rotax. Someone else has had a very good race so far, albeit in 6th position at the moment, Lewis Sumner as well in the X-Kart there. So he might be looking to capitalise on some of the fracas in this last lap, let's say, as we go up through this very fast left-hander onto this bridge section, which they have to nail, don't they, going onto this straight in the back straights, because it could be the difference between obviously quite winning and losing.
It can. This is a momentum track, and I love the way that you have very, very quickly picked up on karting diplomacy. Potential fracas is a great way of describing what we're about to see unfold on the last lap. On the run down to hairpin number 2, Cranham looking to the inside of Cole Denham. This is the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. And you've got Harry Freeman, Lewis Sumner and Louis Radcliffe in 7th place right there. But Kai Clark right behind Leon Hasty as they come through the Mike Wilson complex now. This is Mick's corner, named after Mick Barrett, who is a fixture here at PFI. He's not a fixture, he's not nailed down or anything, he's walking around the place. But the checkered flag goes out. Hasty by 900ths of a second over Clark, with Cole Denham 3rd, Cranham in 4th, Harry Freeman with the fastest lap of the race in 5th, Lewis Sumner in 6th, Louis Radcliffe 7th, William Archer 8th, Charlie Wolfett and Matteo Palazzo.
Yeah.
Now, is anyone else that you're looking at the screens, you're learning all the nuances about timing, anyone else that looked impressed you there, Jake?
Well, it was a great race for Jake Flewitt as well, a fellow Jake, for MLC Motorsport, coming up 6 positions there, albeit in 11th, but still very, very strong race. Also, Daniel Minto as well, having a strong race, as well as Jack Collinson in finishing in P14 as well for Sam Pollitt Racing too. But of course, a very good race for Leon Hasty, our race winner.
Yes, indeed. There he's in the 2024 Craft Motorsport race suit. Now, here we go. Most important question of all. There is a member of the Alpha Live broadcast crew who would disagree with me here, but I want to know this. On the live chat, ladies and gentlemen, when making a cup of tea, do you put in the milk first? You put tea bag in? Do you put milk first or water first? In the live chat, what do you do? And there's a very specific reason why I'm asking this question. Are you a normal? I mean, I won't even get your. We'll get your opinions on this.
Strong views on this.
Very strong views, and correctly so. It's a very important question. So, last lap. This race. While we watch this, Cup of tea, water first or milk first? There is a correct answer.
There is, definitely
There is,
a correct
but
answer.
let's see, water is the only right option, says Hadi Husseini. Well, yes. Hot water, obviously, says Vision. Water, yes. Rufus Hunt. Hey, Rufus, used to race karts. Water, Aidan Mitchell, former TKM driver. Karts. We'll let you get your questions in. Jake, for someone who's watching karting for the first time here, they have got, we can tell you what, we'll come back to that. Think of this. If you're a newcomer to the sport, you've been rental karting, what's the differences between that and this? Think about that as we go to the next race, which is race number 8, Junior Rotax. Here we go then, as we will look at the grid. Albie Lapper and Finley Buck on row number 1. Cian Bernard and Jared Fox-Whiteley on row number 2. Noah Barham and Ellis Bell, whose birthday it is today. And Canada's Rayan Gando. Zane Quacker was very fast in race number 1. Jensen Chalk and Cameron Nelson round out your top 10. Eli Baden and Japan's Shun Sakaguchi on row number 12. John Richardson, Daniel Kilpatrick, Finley Lyons and Eva Morris. With the top 20 being rounded up by John Buchan, Zach Starbuck, Reese Owen and Vlad Semenchuk. As you look at the remaining the remaining runners in this race, viewers, if you're coming to this event for the first time, what are the main things you would notice?
I mean, it's the velocity of these go-karts, the amount of forces that are being put through, the turns, the sheer straight line speed. For rental karting, I love rental karting very much, and I would love the opportunity to drive one of these go-karts around the track, even just for a day or two. But the big difference is, of course, just how incredibly talented they all are at this very young age, and most people don't get a chance to do rental karting properly until a lot later in their life. So I think that is definitely something to think about. The mental strength as well of these drivers here.
Yes, and I think this type of karting, typical Rotax racing, in the junior classes, it's a stepping stone up and up and up. But the Tillotson T4s, that's where you can have karting as a sport within itself. Of course, karting's a sport in its own right. A lot of these drivers will have ambitions further up the motorsport, further along the motorsport ladder. But here we go then. Albie Lapper into the tram lines. Lights are out. We're off and racing. And into the Bruno Ferrari chicane. Somebody over the grass there, but that was a relatively calm start, Jake.
As it's been throughout this this Saturday here at PFI International, and I guess Albie Lapper will be wanting to try and emulate what he did in the race previously earlier on, because he extended something of a 2-second lead in the race earlier on, so hopefully a strong start from him here. All looking pretty tidy and quite clean and well behaved as we start this race.
Yes, there's Cian Bernard up into second place in that Zip Factory team entered Wera Tools liveried. Cian represented Great Britain in last year's FIA Academy. Of course, title sponsors of the Motorsport UK British Championship, Wera Tools. They've got their own livery kart. It looks very, very smart indeed. All we need now is to persuade. Demon Tweaks have always had their own kart in KZ2 with Miles Murphy. Karting Sim. We need a Karting Sim livery kart. That is a problem. And that was Ava Reynolds, one of 2 young ladies in the field. Ava Reynolds for the Jack Dex racing team, having issues. But this is perfect for Albie Lapper, isn't it?
It's an incredible start. Once again, he's really looking to build this lead out in front of Cian Bernard. But then Finley Buck chucking it up the inside there and saying, thank you very much, I'll see you later. Even a little hand signal there to go, let's work together, let's push on. And we did see in the earlier races, didn't we, Henry, that there was a lot of not working together, and that didn't really work out for people.
Yeah, no, you've got cooperation and competition. Anthony Jordan likes to use the term frenemies.
Frenemies, yeah.
Friends 1 minute, enemies the next. But of course, that's always the same thing. Buck dives at the inside of Bernard. Ooh. There's the number 81 Argenti Motorsport kart out of the race. No, that's Argenti livery. He's running with Sam Pollitt Racing on the entry list. And a change there, what are we looking at?
So we've just seen 84 there, something that's picked up my interest, Kieran Bernard. What was he trying to adjust on the side of his go-kart? Is he trying to get more power out of it?
So the radiators on these Rotax karts, they have little flaps at the top. Now the flap, obviously, when the flap is open, that allows more air into the engine, it cools it down. But, and you see you've got the flap open there at the moment. When the flap goes down, obviously you get a bit more power, but it heats up a little bit more. You cannot run a full race with the flap all the way down.
So it's a balancing act.
It's a balancing act. When do you need more power? When do you need, it to sort of cool down? If you put the, radiator down for the entire race, it can get expensive because, these engines are very, very, highly tuned. They're high performance engines. And so that's what you're seeing. And of course, in the old days, it's the good old days, Formula A, ICC, you'd see the drivers adjusting the fuel mixture, the carb settings during a race. Now, in this class, the driver's only really adjusting the one thing mid-race, but it's something that you have to think about. That's when you talk about go-karting, kart racing, you don't necessarily think about drivers making these finite adjustments mid-race.
Yeah, and of course, they're trying to eke out every single tenth, even hundredth of a second, because karting obviously notoriously is incredibly close, always will be, always has been. But particularly we've seen here Kieran Bernard trying to trade second and third place, although he seems to be getting ahead a little bit now. And J. Fox Whiteley up into third. He's been doing quite well there.
Yeah, for the Jax Motorsport team, Jack Marshall from Jax Motorsport and the Jax Motorsport Project 1 Racing Group. You can see their yellow flags waving. Oh, and that is it says Land of Fire on the back of John Richardson's crash helmet. It's not what he wants, indeed. And there's a move, Jared Fox Whiteley. Jared, very, very impressive. Doesn't race a full complement of British Kart Championship seasons. He comes and goes, and races some of the one-offs, but he's a very, very talented driver. And the Jax Motorsport team, they're on that cusp of just breaking through. They've had a win, the British Championship with Sebastian Behrman, a GP plate with Sebastian Behrman. They've had other really strong results, and now it's the final push to join the big boys. They've got a very professional setup, and they've got some very talented drivers. One of them currently running second at the moment.
And with these kind of events, these open events, Henry, with people that are coming in maybe just for the open times, and they're not consistently maybe able to do the events as regularly as others, like how much weight and prestige does maybe doing very successful on the one occasion have? Well,
I mean, in any sport, what the British Open, you think of the Open in golf, and all the magic, the tradition and the majesty that conjures when you say that, the Open. It's open. It's open to all.
Oh, and out wide there. I think that's J. Fox Whiteley, isn't it?
Whiteley. He got to the lead, then got elbowed wide. Bernard now leads. Lapper is third, and the Dan Holland racing kart is Ponteclean's finest, Cameron Nelson, up into P2 now in the number 8 kart with the new fastest lap of the race.
And he's had a great race so far, because I think he's come up 8 places since the beginning of this race. So Cameron Nelson is really making his way through the pack very smartly indeed, and trying to cling on to Albie Lapper, who is again having an incredibly extraordinary race and just keeping it very clean and consistent. But of course, that's the key thing in any race, in a karting race, particularly at a championship like this. It's keeping it consistent, isn't it? And not getting to this bend here and possibly getting a tyre on the grass.
Momentum is also key. You've got to try and time things right as well, because Nelson, Nelson didn't quite time that one to perfection. Had to get on the anchors.
Now
very
Kieran Bernard is up in the lead.
Yeah, and under pressure, Nelson, though, 2 corners later, 3 wide, crossover. You call that a crossover move. You call that a cutback. There's some more action going on there. Finley Buck getting back involved, and 90 seconds to go, and someone's rung the dinner bell as we are now kicking. Well, the technical term is it's all kicking right off.
And when it's getting to this stage and fraught with a couple
speaking of fraught, there's a Coles racing kart. Oh, that's Ellis Bell. He was given the birthday bumps there. Not the kind he wanted either. He drops down the order.
Kian Bernard looking very impressive up the front, but then Jensen Chalk coming out of nowhere. He's come up 7 places. We weren't keeping an eye on him, and all of a sudden he is vying for the lead. And as you were saying, Henry, it can change so quickly in karting. And Kian Bernard, of course, doing his best to stay up the front. But look, we got Chalk going for it right at the first hairpin there. Nice move up the inside there, and keeping it stable, making his way onto the back straight and, of course, into the final few corners.
Jensen Chalk, 2023 Micromax Grand Finals champion for the United Kingdom. His mum is, I think it's his granddad's 70th birthday or something like that this weekend. So his mum is there with the granddad and a load of family at Butlins Minehead. So Mummy Chalk's not here. If she can still open her eyes after probably about 77 bottles of wine, I'm sure she's watching from behind the sofa. But it's all right. Mike Chalk is here looking after young Jensen with the MLC Motorsport team. Bernard second. But again, that's timing. Chalk, he took advantage. He picked his moments. He's made one real significant pass. It's from the lead. And where did Jensen start?
He started in P9.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Now he's got to defend. But time is on his side. Lapper!
Where did that come from? That dive bomb right round the outside.
Yeah, and did he pick up one place? Well, he got one place, did Albie Lapper, and he now looks at the inside. 2 wheels on the curb, and with 3 wide, here comes Cameron Nelson, Jared Fox-Whiteley. 3 wide, sharp intake of breath.
Just.
And Lapper is going to emerge with a handy advantage. There's Zane Quecker. Fox-Whiteley now gets shown the outside line. Kian Bernard doesn't know whether he's Arthur or Martha at the moment, because he started this lap second and he's not going to finish in the top 5.
So on to the final lap here of this junior Rotax race 8, heat 4. This presented by Wera Tools at PFI International Circuit, and we've got Albie Lapper. He fought very hard to come and claim back out into the lead, hasn't he? And then Jensen Chalk has had a very impressive race himself.
Well, I mean, Albie Lapper, one thing that Albie has never been short of is chutzpah. He's not afraid to have a go, is Albie Lapper. Last year, that was to the detriment of his nose cone on more than one occasion. But again, that's learning, and karting, it's a learning sport. This is his second year in the class as Kian Bernard gets run wide. That is a very badly damaged Rotax engine there in the insert. Here we go then, final couple of corners. Finley Buck makes a move on Kian Bernard going into Bobby Gain corner, but Albie Lapper, well, he didn't have it all his own way, Jake, but he's about to take the checkered flag.
Yeah, an impressive race victory there for Albie Lapper. Jensen Chalk coming across the line in second. Cameron Nelson for third, topping off that podium there. Zane Kueka bringing in a P4. And Fox-Whiteley in P5, Eddie Badan and Finley Buck in 6th and 7th, 8th for Kian Bernard, 9th for Kilpatrick, and 10 for Ava Morris. Rounds up your top 10 there.
Ava Morris, top 10. Well, if Eva does a similar result in the main event tomorrow, she will become the first young lady to finish in the top 10 of a Rotax O-plate since Amelia Nelson, who now does the PR for Jag Rotax, the British Rotax importers and distributors. Amelia Nelson, top 10 in senior Rotax, 7th back in 2022. And Amelia is here, and she says she's very proud to have that, but she would love to have someone break it, that record.
Well, it's a significant moment, and of course we've seen right again at the very top what F1 Academy is doing for the female side of the sport, and how it's trickling down into the grassroots right here in karting. Yep. This is what it's all about.
Indeed it is. Now, Albie Lapper taking the win. Of course, at the start of this race, did ask a very, very important question. When making a cup of tea...
Yes, I totally forgot about this.
Put the milk or the water in first? Well, quite rightly, I have to say, the vast majority of you on the live chat have said water, obviously.
And that is correct.
And that is correct.
It's definitely correct.
It is correct. Sumner Speed from the United States did make a very important thing that also James Fitzhugh, our Alpha Live producer, said that back in day when you had a cup of tea in fine china, you would put milk in first so that the boiling water wouldn't crack the china or go to the bottom of the cup. But that was back in...
I was going to say... 1850?
That was 1850, yes, yeah. I remember my first cup of tea. It was made like that. However, and ladies and gentlemen of the Alpha Live universe, please do not think of Nicole Sutherland badly after I say this, but she is a firm believer that you put the milk in first, because she thinks that if you put hot water in first, it burns the tea. Please, she is from Cornwall, do not think badly of her. That's all I will say.
Have we polled the paddock on this before?
Well, I mean, we don't need to. The viewers,
it's
have
quite
spoken.
Clear.
The viewers have spoken, and I tell you what. Now our sponsors are going to speak, and when you come back, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be treated the duo you never thought you knew you wanted until you had them: Anthony Jordan and Jake Peach.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for Senior Rotax. It's race 9, heat 3, and it's Matthew Higgins and Jack West on the front row of the grid. Teddy Pritchard-Williams and Henry Gregory will be rounding out row number 2. William Antrobus and Brandon Truman go from row number 3. They'll be joined by Lewis Gilbert and Matty Hingley on row number 4. Row 5 sees Kean Geraghty and Tristan Rennie. They'll have Hugh Moulton and Mikey Walker round out row number 6. Archie Buttle and Harry Bartle go from row 7. They'll have Alfie Thompson and Owen Neve on row number 8. Alex Moody and Oakley Pryor on row 9. Jack Baker and William Pemble go from row number 10. They round out the top 20. Liam Hartley and George Holbrook on row 11, followed by Reg Hayward and Zach Heslop on row 12. Miles Roby, Asa Pinder and Elliot Foster round out the 27 card field as they make their way round into the Mike Wilson complex. Now, of course, myself, Anthony Jordan, back in the box, joined by Jake Peach. Henry Burdett has taken a long and well-needed rest after his talk about tea. He threw the tea gag at you, of course, but I completely agree.
How many times has he done that?
Far too many times has Henry Burdett done something like that. Here we go, though. Senior Rotax into the sunshine here at PF International. We are not racing, I do believe. I think it is a false start. All my screens are saying false start. However, I don't see false start flags out there, so we might be racing. So I'll double check that. No, it says green light on my face. Suddenly changed in the commentary box. We are green and racing, and it is a good start for the entirety of the field, all bar 1 or 2. Oh, that's that.
Knock the cone out there.
Knock the cone.
I mean, that's not part. You don't get an extra point for that, unfortunately.
You don't get an extra point for that. Press F for the cone over the Litchfield Bridge. Eyes on the rest of the field, though. Really good getaway, though. Higgins in control of this one. The GP plate, again, doing GP things here at PF International, breaking away quite comfortably from the rest of the field. Jack West, Teddy Pritchard-Williams still in that fray. You can see Teddy Pritchard on the Origin Motorsport car just making his way through as the rest of the field just swapping full positions there. The 57 just dropping back a little bit there. That is William Antrobus. Now he had moments in that first senior race earlier on for Antrobus. That big send down the inside at hairpin number 1. Very crucially, though, we saw his reaction after that as well. Drivers with some ups and downs on that one. Harry Bartle's having a good race, up 5 places in the midfield. For some other drivers, though, it's not but a good start. George Holbrook, the privateer this weekend, down into 26th place. That's not the start we wanted. And again, it just showcases how quickly and vulnerable these drivers are in these early stages with so many drivers closed in close together.
Yeah, and in a senior Rotax, I mean, it's competitive across all the classes, but I guess at this point, there really is no holes barred in a race like this.
There certainly isn't, no, and you're seeing that right now with these drivers really kind of line astern, and another one there, unfortunately, just biting the bullet, the number 25 dropping backwards in this. Yeah, indeed, yeah, Miles Roby, the MLC Motorsport driver, not having the greatest second race of his weekend. However, nearer the front, it is certainly going his way. Higgins then leading the way, clear by half a second from Jack West, who has now just set the fastest lap of the race. So West, who has got the likes of Henry Gregory in tow, are starting to close in just fractionally. And we are seeing those battles closing in. That's them going through the shot now. This is the battle for 4th place downwards right now. So you've got Teddy Pritchard-Williams, Brandon Truman, Lewis Gilbert, Matty Hingley all in there. You can see the 2 Strawberries side by side there as they go through. That's a little further down in the order. That's Bartle and Keane Garrity going wheel to wheel. So again, showcasing the battles all the way throughout. It's so... my heart skips a beat when I see them exit out of hairpin 2 there. You just see how much they dig in, or hairpin 1. They dig on the exit. But again, I was hearing your commentary earlier on. You were talking about the curbs and everything like this. It does surprise me also how much curve these drivers take, because the chassis are so taut, they don't have suspension or anything. It's built into the chassis. So when they hit a curb so ferociously like they're doing parts of this, again, I can't believe they do it.
Yeah, particularly the bridge section where you want that stability for the very fast left-right section that they'll be coming up to now. And they're just going around to the corner onto the bridge. You want to be having as much rear traction as possible to go onto this back straight, and you're going to be out of shape because the person right behind you is going to capitalise straight away.
Henry said it perfectly earlier on. It's a momentum circuit. You mess up the Bruno Ferrari S's in towards turn 1 and 2. That's where it goes backwards. There's a nice send down the inside there. William Antrobus moving his way up nicely through the field here, however not for much longer. That is it back through, it says Harry Bartle, and he squeezes his way back past as the 2 go wheel to wheel here, but Antrobus with that inside line just covers off that re-attack and holds on to position. Nice trains forming throughout this position, but the senior category compared to the juniors, obviously a lot of these drivers are a lot more experienced. Some of these drivers have been in this category for many, many years now. There's a handful of the juniors who have stepped up into the category. So you have the new faces with the seasoned senior drivers. It makes for some really close, but sometimes volatile racing.
Yeah, I can imagine. And of course, they would have raced this circuit probably so many times in their career. Of course, more than the juniors because they're older. And again, with that, it brings a wealth of experience. They might try something new that they might have discovered.
And certainly so. And there's a change for the lead as well. Jack West taking that position away from his fellow teammate Matthew Higgins. Higgins down to 2nd place and possibly even 3rd here. Gregory is going to try and go for it. Switches to the outside there, going into the Fullerton S's. Denied again that opportunity. And again, that smart defensive, good kart positioning from Higgins, just to think, right, I'm not going to go overly defensive. I'm not going to hug the inside line. I'll lose all my speed. We'll lose time to Jack West. Crucially, he's not lost the time, and he's kept Gregory behind him. All the while, though, Teddy Pritchard-Williams has closed in Super Ted right there on that Origin Motorsport kart. A new team in the paddock this weekend. With ties to Dubai and to Newcastle, of all places, joined together. A story about the colour scheme of the team, black and white, Newcastle. There you go,
Yeah,
that's why.
Makes sense. I did see them in the paddock earlier, and it looks like a very, very smart outfit.
It is indeed. It's a nice, shiny new awning. They all look like that at the start, but that certainly changes after a racing weekend or 2. Eyes on this one, 2.5 minutes left to go of this race, and so far here, Jake, this has been a relatively tame and a controlled senior race, and this is the sort of stage of the weekend where you would start to see this. They've had one qualifying heat already. They might think, okay, that was good. We don't want to make any mistakes now because we're running out of point scoring opportunities.
Yeah, and of course they want to try and work together at some point, don't they? They've probably got that mature head on at the moment where they want to get through to those further races. And look, they're sitting pretty out. The front 4 is all going very well for them. Yeah. And then, of course, we just have Matty Hingley setting a fastest lap there in P7, though, wanting to try and change that.
Yeah, certainly so. Pushing his way forward in those latter stages of the race. Replay here on screen. This is the change for the lead. Jack West down the inside of hairpin number 1 there. Classic move.
Great
down
move.
The inside. Just you get that toe, you get that slipstream, move to the inside. No drama whatsoever. Starting to get a little bit more feisty here now. You're seeing that defensive posture from Jack West again, just tucking to the inside there into the Fullerton S's. That's bunching them all up. Gregory now has tried to get past into 2nd place, but he's still there in P3. He's got Teddy Pritchard-Williams still there. But Gilbert, Brandon Truman, Matty Hingley there again with that fastest lap. They are closing in. It's gone from 4 to now a potential 7 kart battle here on your screen with less than a minute and a half to go, plus that 1 lap as they go under the Litchfield Bridge, up the banking. Nicely done. Super Ted into 3rd place is pushing his way forward now. That is a nice clean and calm, collected overtake. And crucially, yes, now you've seen the hand gestures. Higgins, that's smart from Higgins. He said, right, let's go, because TP's done the overtake. Now they're fighting. Those two, West and Higgins, can break away now.
And he knows it's a threat. As we say, they're having a argy-bargy of their own, of course. Matthew Higgins going in front, but then, of course, back in front, Jack West is reclaiming that. They want to try and work together, particularly want to win as well, though.
Yes, yeah, it's throwing me under the bus a little bit with what I was saying. You know, I would think at that point they would work together, but no, Jack West has got other plans in this matter and does want to control what would be their last race of today. Of course, more races tomorrow for the seniors. But like you say, yeah, Jack West still looking pretty comfortable. He knows his pace is there. So, you know, and he's showcasing, he's making a statement at this point to the GP plate.
And he's talking about momentum, of course, as this circuit is all about. Every kind of little defensive move there, as we see Jack West making again. He's like, no, come on, don't. I'm not going to overtake you. Like, come on, let's stick to the racing line. Let's carry on and let's try and move forward, because every tiny little move that takes them off that racing line, of course, it's costing them time.
Yeah, exactly that. And Teddy Pritchard-Williams has closed in now on this. So this is not what the two DHR boys will have wanted. And I'm sure Dan Hazelwood in the grandstand there is probably saying, well, why are you defending? Why are you attacking like this? Just kind of, you know, it's only the heats. Work together, push away, open up that time, just secure that 1-2. But maybe there's talks about helping other drivers down in that field. 1, 2 and 3 on your screen. Timer 0. Last lap boards out this time around. Big look over the shoulder there from Jack West. Sussing out the situation, thinking, right, what is the plan here? And I think his plan now is to probably just kind of white line this to the end and hope for the best that it doesn't all go Pete Tong. Big oversteer moment out the back there for Jack West. This is going to give an opportunity for Higgins, but he's not close enough. And now you see the likes of Teddy Pritchard-Williams. He's going to try and get the up and over here as they go wheel to wheel down in towards hairpin number 2. Again, this is the risky moment, because now we're going to go possibly even 3 wide in towards the Fullerton S's. You can see him bumping up and down, but it's not going to work out. The exit speed was not there for Jack West. Higgins takes the lead. Teddy Pritchard-Williams there in second place, as these two now will go to the very end of this race. It's good points for them, but Matthew Higgins is looking to do what he does best and claim what he wants. He had a second place earlier on. It's a win now. Matthew Higgins, the GP plate, takes that win on circuit in the second, and for him, last qualifying heat of the day. Teddy Pritchard-Williams taking that P2 ahead of Jack West, Henry Gregory and Brandon Truman rounding out the top 3. And that's there, Jake. That's a class act of what you expect to see on that one. Those tense moments where you see the drivers close in at the end. Do they go fully defensive, or do they just think, let's think of the bigger picture here? And we saw a clean example
and playing a
of that.
smart game as well, actually, and thinking, you know, of course, to the long game of tomorrow as well here at PFI. They don't want to take each other out, and then, of course, be out of that whole situation. Going down through the rest of the order there, P12, Hugh Moulton, Owen Neve in 13th, Reg Hayward, Mikey Walker, Archie Buttle, Alfie Thompson down to P17, Jack Baker in 18th. And 19th further down. Moving on here to Oakley Pryor, Alex Moody, George Holbrook to 21st, Liam Hartley, William Pemble 23rd, Zach Heslop in 24th, Elliot Foster 25th, 26th Miles Roby, and rounding off the 27 runners, Asa Pinder.
And crucially, I think that is the first time today
where we've had all runners finish.
Yeah, all runners finish, which is good to see. There's the live shots there from Parc Ferme. Of course, the race very much not over yet. Some of the top ranking drivers in that race, they get weighed. There, of course, your race winner from that one, Matthew Higgins, just heading through now, checking that the scales are all good. Crucially as well, nose cones are properly affixed. No one wants to pick up that post-race 5-second time penalty. You do have to be very, very careful with that one. There goes Super Ted. He's all happy there, and some of the rest of them as well. Matty Hingley there, the Ultimate R driver, certainly in a good, strong position over the course of this weekend. A solid top 10 finish, fitting in P9 out on circuit. So a very, very strong performance from Matthew Higgins, but all is well. Plenty.
When they're down in Parc Ferme at this point, is it fraught, or is it?
Yeah, well, we're not too sure. We're going to take a short break, though. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back with the rest of the senior action in a few moments' time. Senior Rotax qualifying Heat 4 coming up next. Race 10, though, over the course of the day, which means after this one, just 2 more races to go for today. But let's take you through that full starting lineup. Ewan Charman on pole position, joined by Guy Cunnington alongside Kai Hunter. And Charlie Cox go from row number 2. Macaulay Bishop and Joshua Graham round out row number 3. Archie Walker and Freddie Ingram go from row 4. They'll have the likes of Charlie Smith and Angus Scrivener on row number 5. Kai Beach and Armand Hamilton go from row number 6. They'll have Joshua Turnbull and Christopher Holst on row number 7. Jack Lilly and Ethan Martin go from row number 8. They'll be joined by Deacon Russell and Lorenzo Cordell on row number 9. Lizzie Mentier and Oliver Liversedge round out the top 20. They go from row number 10. They'll be joined by Harrison Crowther and James Johnson on row 11. Jack Gillingham and Adrian Chonis go from row 12. Luca Posick and Harry Hurst Grover on row 13. Neo Clark running out the 27 kart field in this one. Jake, you just witnessed the first of the qualifying heats for the first one for you, for the seniors. We're going to go into another one now. What are we expecting, do you think, from this one? Because there's some big runners up in that top
There's
section.
some huge names. I know Macaulay Bishop featured very prominently in last year's British O-Plate.
He did, indeed.
And of course, Kai Hunter, very big name as well. I'm interested to see the progress that Luca Posick can make in this race as well, after having a bit of a brake issue in the last senior Rotax race as well. So yeah, let's find out over the next 8 minutes and a lap.
Yes, certainly so indeed. But again, we were thinking that maybe brake failure, then you go faster, so you don't have to slow down. Then
it was intentional.
It's intentional, yeah, but no. Hopefully this time around, it's all good. Yes, indeed. Yeah, last year's senior O-Plate winner in this category, Macaulay Bishop, starting it on the 3rd row of the grid. Also got the O-Plate in the juniors as well. Something tells me we're going round again on this one. And yeah, false start flag going out. Very clearly and correctly done there. You got the front 2. You had the likes of Ewan Charman, Kai Hunter. They were away. But then Guy Cunnington wasn't there. Charlie Cox, Macaulay Bishop, they weren't there. They weren't formed up at all. So yes, there you see the green flag with the yellow chevron in it.
And is that just is that a misunderstanding, or is that mind games? I mean, what's at stake there?
Well, now me and Henry, you would always say, oh yeah, he's planned that, but a lot of the times it's just, oh no, the cart's just not gone, or something's happened at some point. And there's something that's happened. That looks like a chain guard there that's come off someone's wagon. Now, it's got no stickers on it at all, so I have no idea who that's come off. But basically, there's someone out there who's missing one, and I suspect all of the marshals right now will have the eagle eyes looking at what kart is missing it, because that is a technical infringement. They cannot race with that. A technical flag will go out, which is the black flag with the orange circle in the middle, so their race, effectively, before it's even started, is over.
And that's just bad luck, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's not in the driver's hands. It's out of their hands. Something mechanical has gone wrong with the kart. It is one of those things. And you must think, as a driver, you know, a lot of these drivers at this stage in their racing career, they're working on the karts. Yeah. They're doing a little bit to help out the team. But a lot of them, they use their mechanics. And you've got to have that trust in your mechanic, haven't you? You can't allow that mind game to come in and think, oh, is everything bolted on 100% correctly? Because, yeah, you've got to trust it. Here we go. Are we going to trust we're going green this time? No, we're not. Another false start. Now, there's a kart right at the back there, not in formation. So the front looked good, though. So, again, another little test one there.
And each full start that maybe continues on. Hopefully this is the last one. Who is that? That's the number 10 there.
Jack Lilly. Yeah, Jack Lilly. And that, you can hear it ticking over. It's not starting, so something clearly wrong with his kart now. He's pulled over there on the start-finish straight. That's right at the pit lane exit there, and he's going to be, well, unceremoniously pushed backwards into the pre-grid area under the shade. But that, unfortunately, yeah, from starting P15, that's his race over. Now there is our man on track, our Deputy Race Director, Dan Ashton, just signalling to the drivers, saying, come on, what are you doing? Think, get yourself lined up. You should be in 2x2. Rolling start formation is doing the best impression of Nigel Edwards out there. But he hasn't got his clipboard, is what he's missing from that action. I love this shot here. You see everyone trying to get the temperature
trying to get a lot of heat into their tyres. But actually, does it make... It makes some difference?
Well, it makes a big difference when you're going around 160 miles an hour in maybe a much faster form of motorsport. But when you're travelling around at probably 10 miles an hour, you really need those big oversteer and understeer moments to really get some temp into the tyres, doing the zigzaggy things at 10 mile an hour.
Gives them confidence.
It gives them confidence that they're getting some temp into that tyres, but in the grand scheme of
all
things,
behaving this time.
yes.
So hopefully, for the third time of asking, we'll be away for this senior Rotax Heat 4, race 10 of the weekend. Over to you, Anthony.
Third time's a charm, and it is. Green flag, and we are racing. Good start for Charman again as he tries to cover off any attack from Guy Cunnington there as they head through the Bruno Ferrari S's, up through the banking and onto the Litchfield Bridge. You can see there as well, Charman holding on to that lead, and crucially his teammate Kai Hunter has followed him. It's a Hunter Motorsport 1-2 right now, followed by the DHR driver of the likes of Macaulay Bishop, who I believe is up there into P3 now, as he is trying. Well, no, I eat a lie there. I think he's dropped into P2 now, so he's having a very good start there. Yes, there he is, the number 1 plate, the British champion last year and last year's O-plate champion, pushing his way along, and this is the start he would have wanted. Last time he was at the outside line, this time he's got the inside. Much better getaway here, and he can go to work and try and close in on the likes of Ewan Charman in the lead.
Yeah, building a great gap here for the start of this race. And of course, Macaulay Bishop, though, as we've been mentioning, an impressive start from him, up 3 places to jump up to P2. Kai Hunter in third right now, and Cunnington in fourth as they come over the bridge here. A bit of a midfield battle there. And coming down this back straight here, been noticing all this weekend, so key to get this right and maybe get an inside lunge up here.
Oh, exactly that. I'm going to eat my words from earlier on. Matthew Higgins has had the 2 wins out of 2. Now it's confirmed on my screen. So he's got 0 points to his name in the intermediate classification. That means anyone in this race cannot beat him. Higgins has the points lead because he's got the 2. If Bishop got it with his position that he's in now, which is the lead, with that position he would lose another point now. He'd go down to 3 points. He'd be joint with Kai Hunter, but again, he can't claim the outright lead of that one. So Higgins is secure right now going into tomorrow. The eyes will focus on this fight as they go through. The points update, if you are, of course, watching the live timing, you can do that. Head to motorsport-timing.co.uk. Nice shout out there for Ian Rogers, as unfortunately in to the pit lane comes the number 66, Jack Gillingham, who goes no further in this race. Yeah, you can head there and you can see the intermediate classifications. You can see the points available to the drivers as to where they will start tomorrow's Superheats, effectively. This will be their starting grid for that, and at the moment Matthew Higgins in control of that one. Nicole Sutherland, we see action down in Parc Fermé. What's happening down there?
As you can see on your screens then, ladies and gents, the chain guard has come off of the 66 Kart. Bad luck, but it happens to the best of us. Up to you, boys.
Thank you very much, Nicole. Yes, indeed. Great work down there. Of course, we saw that chain guard come off a fair few laps ago, and unfortunately, yeah, Jack Gillingham is the owner of said chain guard. That is at now Marshall Post 3, I believe, out on circuit. Eyes on this one. This is a close little fight we've got here. Macaulay Bishop, quick, talented driver, knows how to battle here. He's under immense pressure, though, from the drivers behind.
Yeah, Ewan Charman and Kai Hunter really giving it a good go here. And down this back straight seems to be a really good place for the overtake, but right round the outside there. A very brave move there from Kai Hunter, and making it stick as he managed to make that go through. Not quite.
No, indeed. Now he's wheel to wheel with his fellow teammate there. Charman, though, down to P4. Make that P5 as down the inside goes Freddie Ingram. There on that strawberry car, just pushing his way through. Now change for the lead, maybe. That's a big send from Guy Cunnington, and he's made that work, believe it or not. He's lost out on the lead, though. Kai Hunter's managed to take that one, but Bishop's down to third. That's as close as you'd like to see it, but that's a brave move there into Bobby Gain corner. It's barely enough room. It looks the tightest part of the circuit for even a single train of karts, let alone side by side. That must have been a scary moment for both.
But you've got to take those opportunities, haven't you? You've got to try and second guess where your opponent's not expected you to go, and that's where you can make up the certain positions as we come down the back straight now here, and Kai Hunter hopefully looking to fend off Macaulay Bishop all of a lap ago.
Well, Hunter's been given the second chance here of controlling this race, but like you say, Guy Cunnington, who had to fend off that beginning bit, he was on the outside of row number 1, he dropped back a few places, back into the fray as Freddie Ingram now heads up into second place. This has been a superb drive for Ingram. He's up 6 places now in this race, and he's looking for potentially first qualifying heat win of the weekend here, if he can do that, as they make their way out of the Mike Wilson complex, in through Pitts Bend, back on that start-finish straight. 3 minutes left to go, long way as we see replay going through the Bruno Ferrari. There is that moment there. So did get the move done. Brilliant stuff for Kai Hunter there. He found a gap out of nowhere between all of that, and those are the opportunities you've got to take here at PF.
Big moment though for Guy Cunnington there, and just about managed to collect it and hold it all together.
And again, we're seeing those moments here, side by side. Freddie Ingram on the grass there, just manages to bring it back on the circuit. Now we're talking. Now this is senior Rotax racing at its finest. And Macaulay Bishop has gone from P4 to the race lead now in the space of a handful of corners. So Bishop doing what Bishop does best, and that is breaking his way back through this field. After a scary moment earlier on, he's in a really strong spot now. Cunnington still there in P2 from the likes of Ingram in third place. Kai Hunter there in P4 now has Walker, Graham, Charman, Cox, Turnbull, Scrivener all on his rear bumper. It's a long train of karts, but these top three here, Jake, they've not, well, they're fighting still, and you can see how quickly that gap closes back up again.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of a gap, but actually, you know, it can all change, as we've seen in the last lap of this very corner. Macaulay Bishop went right up to the lead, and Guy Cunnington, Ingram, hopefully, maybe you'd think wanting to work together at this stage, but it doesn't seem like from the action and the behaviour in this race we've seen so far that might be the case of how they want to go about the rest of it.
No, exactly, and you see those gaps in, like I say, other forms of motorsport. A 0.4 of a second gap could seem like 2 miles in comparison, but in karting, 0.4 is nothing. Here we go then, Kai Hunter down the inside of Freddie Ingram. That's denied him any chances of getting up the order, and Archie Walker now has made his way through. The KR Sport driver pushing his way through nicely up into P4. That move, though, has given these two a little bit of breathing space. Bishop and Cunnington, they have broken away now from the rest. They've got around 0.6 of a second advantage. It's still not a great deal, especially with Bishop doing this. Defensive posture, even with a minute to go in this race. He's again doing what he thinks is the right thing to do, and that's back the pack up into each other. It's a common tactic you see in karting. If it's just one or two, you know you've got to deal with that. But when you've got the whole pack there, it's a little bit more.
And they'll be so aware of all the moves they're doing at this time is allowing, of course, Kai Hunter to close right back up to them again. And this is, again, maybe what Guy Cunnington might slightly have wanted, but only to a certain point. It's a constant balancing act.
Yeah, exactly. From 2 karts, it now remerges into about 7, 8 karts battling away as the updates happening thick and fast in that background there. Charlie Cox having a good run, and there we're seeing Joshua Turnbull making those moves. Big moments over the start-finish line there and over through the Bruno Ferrari S's, because Macaulay Bishop got real tangled up there and now has Guy Cunnington all over that rear bumper. There you can see Freddie Ingram using all the track and a little bit more to his advantage there out of the Litchfield Bridge as they go down in towards hairpin number 1. The clock has struck 0. Time is very quickly running out. This is far from over yet here, Jake.
And Guy Cunnington, on the back of Macaulay Bishop there, took a real risk on that bridge section, took a lot of curb, and it was a 50-50. It was either going to have him real close or not. And as we've seen, unfortunately, Kai Hunter has jumped him just there as we go into this third sector of PFI.
It's going to be all guns a-blazing on this final lap. Again, it's only a qualifying heat, but it's their last race of the day, and that's what gets the proverbial juices flowing in a driver to really think, what can we do going into tomorrow? Ring that dinner bell, here we go. Final lap time, it's Bishop, Hunter, Cunningham, Walker, from Charman, Graham, Ingram, Cox, Turnbull and Mentier. Lizzie Mentier has got herself up into that top 10.
9 places.
9 places gained. A fabulous run there. Here we go though, down to hairpin 1. How wide they're going to go, do you reckon?
I reckon 4.
4 wide on the exit, maybe in towards hairpin number 2?
Not quite.
Not quite, only
very
single file.
Very dignified, actually. Very much more dignified than we thought.
More dignified. Here we go. Here's some side-by-side action here. Kai Hunter whipping it to the outside. Nice little chop and change there. Has the inside line now going into the Fullerton S's, but it goes side by side, and Bishop goes off the track. That was always going to happen, and there's contact between the two of them. Cunningham goes through. Cunningham from 3rd to 1st place, and the 2 drivers of Bishop and Hunter, who are the main protagonists over this weekend, have just cost themselves a win in that qualifying heat. And Guy Cunnington, who was feeling under the weather yesterday, will feel on top today as he takes his first win of the weekend ahead of Bishop and Hunter. That is not what you want to see, and that is how quickly you can go from hero to zero in karting.
And that's exactly what we were talking about. Of course, they're very aware they need to work together, but as we see there, an investigation, Macaulay Bishop for that fracas, as I've called it previously, the argy-bargy going on there. But of course, as you said, it's changed the complete race order there. We've got Guy Cunnington coming out on top, Macaulay Bishop, Kai Hunter, Archie Walker, Ewan Carman, Freddie Ingram, Joshua Turnbull, Charlie Cox, Armand Hamilton and Charlie Smith as your top 10.
Indeed. Well, Guy Cunnington will be smiling like that, I'm sure, underneath the helmet, thinking, thanks, guys, I'll take that win. And Bishop, yeah, like you say, under investigation. The rest of the results there on your screen. You see the likes of Joshua Graham in 11th place from Lorenzo Cordell, Angus Scrivener from Kai Veach, Deacon Russell, Lizzie Mentier, unfortunately, as we praised her for being inside that top 10, dropped down to P16 at the end of that one. Harrison Crowther from Neo Clark, Harry Hurst-Grover from Oliver Liversedge, Christopher Holst from Ethan Martin, James Johnson, Andres Tonis and Luca Posick rounding out the 25 finishers. Jack Gillingham with the chain guard and Jack Lilly breaking down at the start. Something tells me we might hear some words down there between a couple of drivers.
Yes.
Like you say, there's a previous history between those two. That history continues in fine fashion. And right, we see a replay here. This could be it, and there you can see a clear look of probably why the investigation flag is out, off track, back on, rejoining right next to Hunter there, and you can imagine for both of them a very tense moment on track.
Yeah, of course. Hopefully they'll be diplomatic about it, and it looks like Bishop was trying to collect it as he came across to try and collect it from going, not trying to collide, but that's racing.
Yeah, indeed. More races coming up. It is time now for Micromax.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Big thanks to Jake Peach, for coming up and assisting us both there for the last few races. Here we go. Micromax, Albie J. Stubbs and Benedictus Mastiokas, Dian Bahal and Charlie Page are the top 4 on the grid.
Ralph Martin and Albert Farrow go from row number 3. Dan Fadia and Harris Barber go from row number 4.
Rounding out your top 10, Dimitar Uzanov and Otto Amy, with Ansel Murray and Chloe McGill next.
Row number 7 sees Alfie Garrett and Zach Andrew, Jensen Darlow and Ted Hayward. They round out the top 8 rows.
Harley Brereton and Max Armitt are on row number 9. The top 20 completed by Freddie Walker and Oliver Woodall.
The final 1.5 rows of the grid, George Simmons and Will Wainwright. Sebastian Crawford rounds out the 23 kart field.
Just before we get going,
go on.
I have noticed that the chat has been somewhat lively. I would say to Benjamin Lawn that you would get shout-outs if you drove your go-kart faster, and then you would get shout-outs during a race,
right?
Which would be preferable. And lots of people say, can I say silly words? Well, the lexicon of verbal buffoonery, I shall not rise to it. The race is underway. I've got more brain rots than an episode of The Walking Dead in my vocabulary, but I shall not use it today. Scissors. Here we go. Into the banking. Dian Pahal has made a good start. That is Benedictus Mastiokas has made the best start, and he is there leading Charlie Page. Dian Pahal defending from the number 32 of Ralph Martin, going into the first hairpin with the number 12 kart of Harris Barber not far behind either. And Alfie Garrett, is Kerry Probert is there watching with a cocktail in Barbados.
That's where I'd like to commentate from.
Well, I mean, Lincolnshire, Barbados. I mean, I'm wearing shorts. I can't see a difference, really.
Well, I certainly can. But there we go. racing going on, though, here at the moment. But a nice, steady start then for the beginning of this one. And I've got to say, for our man, Masiokas, just breaking away there nicely. No real drama. He's already got a 7/10 lead out of Charlie Page at the end of lap 1 alone.
But of course, this is the class where the slipstream effect is even more pronounced than any other. Now, of course, as we're looking, obviously we've got cameras around the circuit. The cameras that you can't see are controlled by the stewards. Now, the Motorsport UK have got a whole room full of cameras. There they are. That's the stewards' room, where and it's the bank of cameras on your right. They're not the Alpha Live cameras. They're the Motorsport UK cameras that are here in place. So any incident that might be under review, when you see like there was that Macaulay Bishop under review, well, that's where the review takes place. David Manchester amongst the stewards there watching this in the camera room. So they're reviewing all incidents that are on track, as well as obviously the race directors and assistant race directors that are out on the circuit.
And I suspect one incident they're reviewing is Ansel Murray at the start of this race. The driver starting on the 6th row of the grid has just picked up a 3-second time penalty. Now 3 seconds would indicate a
2 wheels outside tram line.
Outside tram line. So it's a start line infringement that has occurred, and that penalty has already been applied.
Now, of course, all these young drivers, they would have spent all winter furiously trying to get on a kart sim, you know, to do laps, digital laps around PF International. And in fact, all the other circuits that the Motorsport UK British Kart Championship comes to. One thing that we haven't done, Anthony, there's never been a Henry v Anthony race on one of the kart sim rigs.
There has not, because I would embarrass you far too much.
See, look at that. Youth before wisdom, ladies and gentlemen. How little doth he know.
Do you know how to turn a computer on, Henry?
I have got a laptop. It's got Windows XP on it.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, that came out in what year?
I don't know, but it weighs more than most of the Micromax drivers.
Probably, yes. That's not actually probably far off of real reality. Action happening here,
yes, sorry,
Henry.
go-karting. Let's talk about some go-karting.
Charlie Page under pressure now from Albert Farrow. Dian Pahal has closed in as well, and they are having a nice little scrap here. However, the likes of Masiokas has broken away by now 1.8 seconds. This is all kicking off here. Dian Pahal down the inside, up into 3rd place.
Yeah, Pahal in the gold crash helmet. Now there's the signal. So he's pointing
again,
forward.
To just go.
Yeah, say, right, let's work together.
Not malicious.
No. I've overtaken you, and now I want you to follow me.
Yes.
I've ignored what you said earlier when you pointed finger forward saying, no, I want you to follow me. Everyone wants to be the leader. They'll eventually come to some sort of temporary arrangement. 3.5 minutes to go. Fear not, Tillotson T4 fans. We will be covering the races tomorrow. Qualifying for the Tillotson T4 takes place after the racing today. However, we'll be out filming a paddock show.
Well, we will, yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, that's as close as you'd like it there. And I think that's Alfie Garrett trying to get the move down the inside there, but denied that one. Despite that fastest lap of the race, and that is that slipstream kicking in on the lap here at PFI. He's able to utilise that. He's got 3 karts in front, line astern. He's the 4th. Big hole is punched in the air for him. He can close that gap up nicely, and that's where that fastest lap has come his way from.
And there's Pahal, and again, Pahal having to back out of it there, up over the curbs. That's going to cost him a little bit of momentum, but he regains that momentum because the 24 of Albert Farrow is then able to just push him up closer to Page. So the momentum that Pahal lost by sort of diving in on the brakes, having to back out of it and clattering over the curb, that was mitigated by the fact that Farrow was simply able to ease his nose cone onto Pahal's rear bumper and push him down the straight there. Great work there from the camera crew to show the slipstream effect, because you could see the gap visibly shrinking. Page hanging it tough on the outside, wheel to wheel across the bridge for the race lead, and now Pahal goes to the crossover, but Charlie Page hangs on And Dian Bahal says, I don't want to follow, I want to be the leader.
And the lead he has got of this group, of course, they are, count them, 3.3 seconds further down the road.
Oh, yeah, this is
from
great news.
Masioskas, who is leading the way. A superb drive. And all of them are all saying, come on, let's go. What are we doing? But, like I say, it's easier said than done, isn't it? Because all the meanwhile, everyone else is closing in behind.
And what Dian is thinking, you know, is that, well, it doesn't matter. We've got 90 seconds to go. Benedictus is so far ahead I can hardly see him. So we're not going to catch him anyway. So I may as well battle for second. The race is for second place. So let's not blame Dian Bahal for defending at this stage. He's realised, you know, quite rightly, Masioskas is not going to be caught. The race is for second. Dian has it. Everybody else wants it. A minute to go. It's now Dian's right to defend his line. You can't weave, but you can defend.
Exactly that. Well, time very quickly running out in this race. And like you say, these top 5 still in a very strong position here. This is much better as well for Benedictus, because you've got to think the 5-second penalty he got in the first race. He was winner on track. He lost out on that one. This brings him back into play here. It puts him up 3rd in the intermediate classification. Again, a very strong position, especially after losing out on so many places earlier on. He dropped down to P6 at the end of that race. So again, this is again making that statement of, okay, yes, I am the quicker of the drivers here. Just watch me in a pre-final.
But also, you make bringing up the intermediate classification, Anthony, is that Dian is defending second place because he currently leads.
He leads
the intermediate classification. And that would mean he would start on pole position for the superheat tomorrow. And there's side-by-side for third place between Pharaoh and Garrett, as they go side by side down towards hairpin number 1. Charlie Page has thought to himself, okay, of course at the moment Pahal has 2 points and Page has 5. Talk about heat points, it's 0 points for a win, 2 for second, 3 for third, you know, and so on, going up in increments of 1. So if Page were to pass Pahal, that would put Page on 4 points and Pahal on 3. So it wouldn't make a difference. You would think that the drivers aren't thinking about that. Oh, they are. You know, it's it are indeed. Side by side, new leader, no new second place driver, not quite.
Not quite close as you'd like it though on the final lap of the race. That's attempt 1 there from Charlie Page to try and change that position. Good defensive line from Dian Bahal. Now we're going to attempt phase 2. This is hairpin number 1, and again, drastically different racing lines. They're fighting who's got the faster of the 2 cars down in towards turn number 3. And, well, crucially, it's all guns a-blazing between the 2. It's even Stevens with them through hairpin number 1. Hairpin number 2 is a similar story. They're trying to switch over and get the switchbacks. It's just not working out. I've got to say, these 2 are having a fabulous race.
Somebody on the grass heading down towards... that was a little bit more saying, no, forward. And final lap, 2 or 3 corners to go. Dian's like, I'm not sure if I believe you, Charlie, when you say you're not going to pass me. There is a pass, and that that was getting very close between Harris Barber and Alfie Garrett, and they managed to sort themselves out. Coming across the line, though, Benedictus Masioskas takes the win for Screed Flooring Racing. Nathan Rawlins' team back in victory lane here at PF International by 5.2 seconds over Pahal, Page, Pharaoh, Garrett, Barber and Ansel Murray. Good drive from the second of the Richardson's chassis engineering karts, teammate driver to Dian Bahal, P7, Dax Farah, Dimitar Uzanov. The top 10 rounded out by Albie J. Stubbs, who had he started right at the front.
Yeah.
And obviously went backwards in the early running and didn't quite recover.
Yeah, pole sitter dropping to P10 at the end of that one. Also, Amy, Relatively decent race, only dropping the 1 spot there into P11. Ted Hayward, gain of 4, up to 12th place. Zach Andrew from Ralph Martin, Chloe McGill from Jensen Darlow, Max Armitt from Sebastian Crawford. 5 places gained to finish in P18.
I gotta say,
go on.
Love these shots, you know, because the drivers have got their iridium
visors
on.
Oh,
but then,
God, iridium.
See,
the words are flowing back, Henry.
I know. We haven't even had one mention of Uncle Tyrone yet. Rolling back the years.
Rolling back the years.
But when the drivers lift their iridium visors up, you could just see the happiness, like Benedictus Masiotis. There's Dian Pahal having a look up. That's where you see the emotion come in.
Well, plenty of racing to go. Well, I say that. 1 race to go. We're going to take a short ad break. Don't go anywhere. It will be Minimax 950 coming up next. Minimax 950 out on track. Let's quickly fire you through that starting lineup. They're halfway around the lap. It's Edward Haynes, Emerson McAndrew-Urin, Leo Livings and Max Jolly on the front 2 rows.
Josh Cormack and Tom Reed are on row number 3, followed by Joshua Griffin and Austin Gibson.
Alfie Mayer and Ryan White go from row number 5. Ollie Thompson and Riley Morrow round out row number 6.
Joshua Cook, the Cookie Monster, and Austin Oman are next. Then it is Max Gilman and Max Wheatley.
Row number 9 sees Logan Rolfe and Sebastian Behrman. Row 10 and the top 20 sees Luke Millwood and Benjamin Lawn.
Okay, as you're looking at the rest of the field cycling through, this will be a 36 kart race. Can Oliver Spencer do anything from the back of the grid after a terrible opening heat? And through the shimmer of the late afternoon sunshine, we are off and racing. Anthony Jordan.
We certainly are, and it's a bit of a zesty start there for Max Jolly. You saw him there just clip the rear bumper of another, sending him slightly sideways. There's a spin there in the background as well. That is MZ Rosie, unfortunately, having a moment out on circuit, but the rest of the field all getting a good getaway here. And crucially, once again here, Henry, we've got a driver breaking away from the rest, and it's in the form of Emerson McAndrew in the number 3.
Yes, but this is Minimax, let's not forget. And it seems that it's almost impossible to break away in this class. And you could see Edward Haynes in the number 7 lining up a single file. It's like suddenly, like the worker bees have realised, and they all get into single file as quickly as possible. There's the difference between, the Micromax drivers who are still, I want to lead this corner, I want to lead. It's much harder to teach an 8-year-old race tactics than it is a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
And it's much harder. And that is a wagon that has stopped. And it's Austin Oman again.
Yeah.
Tristram Oman, his dad will be throwing fits in the paddock. The wagon just does not want to work. It has had a distinct lack of waftage today.
Yeah, that is a big, big shame there. But nonetheless, the race goes on. It's one of those harsh realities that comes a driver's way, and something that they do have to learn over the course of their racing career. Big move down the inside there for Tom Reed. Not close enough, though, for the advantage. We're seeing Austin Oman's kart being unceremoniously dragged there into Park for May.
And Austin, he comes into his debut season in Minimax on the back of second in last year's Micromax British Championship, second and a podium finish in both the International Trophy and the Grand Finals. The good news for Austin is his first day in Minimac. Well, it can't go much worse tomorrow.
No.
Let's think of that. As we flash across the bridge here and down the hill towards hairpin number 1. There's another move. Well, that was the 22 of Riley Murrow, and you can give the assist to, was that Leo Livings just behind him? Or was it the, no, it was the global karting number 5 of Joshua Griffin helping Murrow pass the number 9 of Josh Cormack.
Indeed. Yellow flags out at hairpin number 1.
There's a kart in the driver getting back into the kart.
There it is.
It's KR Sport kart. It's the number 44 of Lucian Smith.
Yeah, indeed. So going no further for Lucian Smith. We'll hopefully get back in this race. I want to talk about some other drivers here as we see a move down the inside there from the number 5Z. Joshua Griffin looking for it, not finding it though. Oliver Spencer is just popped up on my screen that he's under investigation. However, he's having a decent race this time around. 14 places gained from the back of the field. He's up into 22nd.
Look at that, the shadows lengthening now as we get towards the close of the day here. Now that will be causing some of the drivers' visibility issues as the number 47 Hunter Jack's Motorsport kart. How does Jack's Motorsport kart? Ryan White. That doesn't look really Jacksy to me. It looks more Hunterish, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Well, yes, it's because Ryan White is racing under Hunter Motorsport.
But on my list it says Jack's Motorsport.
Well,
obviously there was an error.
Your list telleth lies.
It has. There's a view that no racing driver wants. Austin Oman forlornly watching his rivals do laps as he stands still.
Well, 3.5 minutes left of this race. Under the bridge they go, back onto the bridge here. Edward Haynes looking for a lead change, finds that lead change over the literal bridge. And, well, Emerson McAndrew are not fighting that one. Checks over the shoulder, can see that gap. Riley Murrow, Joshua Griffin there in 3rd and 4th place. Right now not playing a pivotal role in that lead duo.
Yeah, no, it took Edward Haynes, a few minutes. But he's made the move. McAndrew Ura didn't fight it too much. They've still got a slight gap over Murrow and Griffin, but that is, in karting terms, that 5-6 kart lengths, that's not a gap at all. Effectively, we're looking at a 4-kart lead battle. The main concern for these 4 is, can they work together long enough to keep the chasing pack led by the 2 KR Sport karts of Josh Cormack and Leo Livings, who are working together as teammates should. Let's have a look back. Let's have a look forward at the number 51 kart of Sebastian Clark retiring from the race.
Yeah, indeed. That's a bit of a shame there. And this is kicking off now here because the 2 duos have closed into one quadruple group of drivers. Riley Murrow trying to go for the move there on Emerson McAndrew Uren, but not able to find a way through. And that gives Edward Haynes just that fraction bit of breathing space there, Henry, and I think with 2 minutes to go, that would be well received.
Yeah, I mean, Riley Murrow, 7th in the... let's have a quick chat before we talk about Riley Murrow. Nicole Sutherland is down in the pit lane. What have you got for us, Nicole?
On your screens then, the 51 car, it looks like it's a front puncture. Mechanic there, press the rubber for you, front puncture for the driver.
That's, very nicely demonstrated there.
Yes,
but,
thank you, Nicole.
Sebastian Clark, front puncture. Oh, that's quite, we don't see many of those.
A bead, I mean, if you have a look at the white on the corner of the tyre, that looks like it's been, there's been wheel-to-wheel contact, and that maybe popped the bead off that kart. As now we look at Griffin trying to pass McAndrew Uren and trying to hold on. Somebody gets, Josh Cormack getting all sorts of sideways going into the second hairpin. That's cost the Scotsman a couple of places, as Riley Murrow said, let's not sleep on Riley, because let's not forget he's the 2022 Motorsport UK Bambino champion, British champion.
There we go. Riley Murrow, though, unfortunately, that little defensive wiggle he did there unsettled him quite a bit there through Bobby Gain corner. And he's lost out on a handful of positions there. He's gone from 3rd as they cross over the line. Where did he tumble down to? P6 in that one. 3 places lost. And again, it's just a case of just unsettling that kart to defend that position. Eyes on this here, though. That battle still unfolding. Joshua Griffin in third place, trying to defend that last major battle spot there, because Edward Haynes and McAndrew Ewan have broken away from the rest. They're side by side in the background there. They're side by side here.
And Tom Reed, number 10, the farmer, Tom Reed, has on that Gillard chassis for the SFR Motorsport team. Riley Burrow having decided to go the other way. Obviously got spun out. Tom Reed, last year, he's moved to Nathan Rawlings, running the Tony Kart Junior team the Strawberry Racing Junior team last year. Tom Reed was under the tutelage of the one and only Mark Baines, and that taught Tom a lot, mostly swear words. One of the things that Mark was really working at on Tom was his aggression, going to make moves, because that is what was holding Tom back. He would sit and he would follow, and he would not make moves, or it was a struggle. He's got no problem this year. He's moved across to SFR, but the lessons that Frag taught him last year, are paying off, because he's come out swinging this year. Real good amount of aggression, and aggression in the right places.
Yes, and we're seeing that very nicely here. Final lap board out. They're making their way around the lap, and this has probably been in a mini-max 950 sort of positioning, a relatively calm and controlled race.
Yes, as we look at the 52, the 52 of Austin Gibson.
Every time I say that, something happens.
But we're seeing Austin Gibson in Rotax the first time, the former Water Swift Restricted British champion. As here we go, checkered flag. Edward Haynes takes the race win from Emerson McAndrew Ewan. Tom Reed in third, having made one or two really good passes that'll be pleasing. Josh Griffin, Leo Livings, Austin Gibson. So you drivers, Gibson, a British champion, in 2023 in Water Swift Restricted, a former GP plate champion as well. Rotax engine, different from the Miami engine. There's slight little, differences, and it's taking him a while just to get used to it. But he will be a force to contend with before this weekend is out.
Yeah, certainly so. Well, there's the rest of the order going over your screen. Alfie Mayer finishing in 11th place from Joshua Cook. Alfie Ward, good race in that one for Ward. 14 places gained, finishing in P13 ahead of Riley Murrow. Harry Ratcliffe finishing in P15. 8 places gained from Benjamin Lawn. Thomas Jackson, the A plate, 12 places gained. That's a solid drive there.
Well done. Oliver Spencer, he passes half the field, gains 18 positions on track. Now, that does mean, unofficially on track, that Aston Sharp wins the day in terms of most positions gained on track. He passed 20 drivers in his first heat. Oliver Spencer, a nice second in that. 18 places gained on track talk.
Indeed.
There is Edward Haynes going through. And Emerson McAndrew Ewan. There is Tom Reed.
All is good so far.
All is good.
All is good.
All is good. All is calm. Now, there is Austin Gibson for the Sam Pollitt Racing team on the Kart Republic chassis. Now, they're on-track action here in terms of the Motorsport UK British O-Plate, presented by Wera Tools, has finished. We will have 2 qualifying sessions for the Tillotson T4s, the juniors and the seniors. We're not showing that action because we don't cover the qualifying sessions for any classes, but the racing tomorrow, we will show all the Tillotson T4 races tomorrow. Fret ye not.
Indeed, it will be a busy day tomorrow. Plenty of racing. Of course, those finals will be the ones that you'll want to be watching the most, I can imagine. The O-Plate up for grabs. Any one of these drivers could take it, and so far we have no idea who's going to be getting it. Someone who might have an idea of who could be getting it is Nicole Sutherland. Nicole, over to you. What have you got for us?
That's it then from our mini class. Emerson, good day worth of racing today. It looks really difficult out there. How are you feeling?
Yeah, we had good heat 1, which we won. And then in that heat, we just got smashed off by Sam Pollitt, which let Haynes get a gap, and I couldn't quite close it in at the end. But we've got really good pace moving on to tomorrow.
And obviously the O-Plate is a one-off race. Do you think drivers race this kind of competition differently? Do you think it's a bit different out there on the circuit?
Yeah, I just think half the drivers is like smash someone off or win.
And then going into tomorrow, how are you feeling? You feeling pretty confident that maybe you could take an O-Plate home?
Yeah, I'm feeling very confident because we've had first and a second, so I feel like if we keep that pace up, we can have a go at the win.
And this, of course, is the first big race of the year. Over the winter, what's it look like for you? What have you been doing to come to this race and be on top form?
Just a bit of testing, sometimes on the sim, sometimes here, and then yeah, just really testing.
Well, great to hear from you, Em. Good luck for tomorrow. We'll go back up then to hear from Henry and Anthony for the last time today, and then I'm sure we'll have a short outro before tomorrow's racing.
Well, there's no such thing as a short outro with Henry Burdett because he waffles like anything.
Well, why use 5 words when 47,000 will do? Diplomacy 101, brought to you exclusively by Emerson McAndrew Uren. The sun sets. It's a balmy spring evening here in Lincolnshire. The grass is growing. The leaves are slowly returning to the trees. And the wildlife now, this is the evening, the crepuscular animals, such as rabbits, which are like crepuscular, dawn and dusk. It is getting closer to dusk here at PF International. It's been a great day's racing, Anthony. We've got an idea of who is going to contend, but this is like Kart Masters tomorrow. It will be all guns blazing because nobody cares who comes second. The British Open, those 2 words, the British Open golf. The British Open, but yeah, it's an open event. It conjures a certain majesty about it.
Certainly does.
I think, you said 47,000 words. Producer James Fitzhugh, he of all the cameras, give me the signal to say, keep going.
In the background for the last 5 minutes, he's been telling you, wrap up.
I can't hear him. I can't hear him. In that case, ladies and gentlemen,
stop talking.
How about this for an outro? On behalf of Wera Tools, Demon Tweaks and Kart Sim, this has been Saturday's coverage of the Motorsport UK 2025 British O-Plate, brought to you by Alpha Live. See you tomorrow.